And we go again. Same stadium, same teams, but some different faces, both on the field and in the studio. I'm John Norman, and alongside Darren Goff, Matt Pryor, Alex Tudor, Andrew McKenna and Guy Swindles, delighted to welcome you to TalkSport 2's live and exclusive ball-by-ball coverage of the first 2020 between the world's best, India and England. Number one and number two going head-to-head in a World Cup year, a bumper crowd and a ground that both sides know very well indeed, because all 5 matches are going to be played at the same location as the final 2 tests of the series. We're in Ahmedabad. It used to be about 5 test series, but is this 5 T20 series arguably the highlight of the tour? One man who played in England's very first T20 back in 2005 is TalkSport's very own Darren Goff. And Goffy, if Australia were the team to beat back then, when you skittled them for 79, then from an English perspective, the team to beat these days, from an English perspective that is India.
Oh, India in India is the ultimate, and really looking forward to this. I think we're going to get a proper even contest, I would say, throughout this series. I think we all thought England was favourites for the test series. India were favourites for the test series, and it turned out that way, even though we all got excited when we went 1-0 up. But it wasn't to be. We were outgunned by their spinners compared to England's spinners throughout the series. But this one, on paper, we're set for a fantastic series. 2 brilliant teams, both well led by Eoin Morgan and Virat Kohli, and some exciting players in each team.
Well, the last time England's limited overs side were in action, well, it might have passed you by. It has been a busy few months, of course. England travelled to South Africa at the end of November. Now, that series is probably best remembered for the fact it didn't happen. The abandonment shortly before the ODI series got underway. But the T20 series did go ahead, and it went ahead live on TalkSport 2.
Johnny Bairstow's looking in, good touch, and Johnny Bairstow has turned this one and given it an absolute clattering.
Oh, that's just absolute shocker. That is the worst ball of the innings by some comfortable margin.
I think at that point, Butch, you think I should come in here.
No, it wasn't that wide. Heaney in once more. Bairstow standing in front of all 3 stumps.
Shot.
The bat in the air. He has smashed it, smoked it, absolutely crunched it over long on. England are in front in the 3-match series.
I think the questions that England wanted answered have probably been answered. Johnny Bairstow, you can bat him wherever you want.
Flighted bowled, absolutely neck and crop. Adil Rashid has had Reza Hendricks on toast. The other wicket taker, that's brilliant from Rashid. It's also superb from Buttler, and I think Faf du Plessis is out stumped. It goes in again, and this is wide of the stumps. Oh, Josh Buttler, that's glorious. Rabada is in once more to Jordan. Jordan scoops it into the leg side. That'll be the game and the series.
Jordan back around, that is straighter. Quentin de Kock has gone for this one. He's got underneath it a bit, he's got nowhere near all of it, and Tom Curran will take the catch, and Chris Jordan has his moment. He is now officially England's leading T20 international wicket taker. Archer is in.
Shot.
Van der Dussen has climbed into this one, into the leg side. 6-4. Van der Dussen swings hard, back over Jordan's head. That's got huge hang time. That's air Jordan.
Geedy goes into Milan. Oh, goodness me. Oh, just fetch it. Fetch it, throw it back. That's gone miles.
Just end it now for me, please.
A low-key end to what has been anything but a low-key run chase from England. Dawid Malan finishes 99 not out. England have chased down the target of 192.
This is almost like if Fawlty Towers did a cricket sketch. I've never seen anything like this in men's international cricket.
Brilliant stuff. England, that is. 3-0 series winners. The team that day, Goffey: Jason Roy, Joss Buttler, Dawid Malan, Johnny Bairstow, Ben Stokes, Eoin Morgan, Sam Curran, Tom Curran, Chris Jordan, Jofra Archer, Adil Rashid. It's a settled team that England have got. We could see the same team play today, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could do. This is why England have been fantastic in white ball. They've got a group of players together. Eoin Morgan knows. I think he does know 100% his best 11. I think now he's probably writing a little list out. It will be the first game in, what is it now, another 6, 7 months, 8 months' time, the first team to play on Indian soil in the World T20. He probably knows it. Probably one position up for grabs in the all side.
I tell you what, let's bring in a couple of the TalkSport teammates. You know what? 40 years ago tomorrow, Roland Butcher became the first black man to represent England in a Test match. And fast forward to today's game, we can expect to see two England players with Barbadian heritage in Chris Jordan and Jofra Archer. And I'm delighted to say another man who wore the three lions and has got his own Barbadian heritage is with us in the studio. Alex Tudor, welcome back. Well done climbing those 17 floors.
Man, it was hard work, Johnny. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks to the listeners who are tuned in. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and you know, with both these sides, you know, world-class sides, you know, flamboyant players on both teams, and it should be a good one.
Well, let's look at the two players that I mentioned, because so much is said and written about Jofra Archer, but let's move him to one side. Chris Jordan has played 38 of the 39 T20s since England last played in a World T20. Now, we know Owen Morgan has his men, and Chris Jordan is Owen Morgan's man. What is it about Jordan that inspires the backing of the captain in the way that Morgan's shown him over the last few years?
I just think he definitely relies, especially at the back end. You know, Chris is most probably our best exponent in that England side with bowling his Yorkers, and he's not only just bowls them straight, he's able to watch the batsmen. I've seen him in training, and when he's in the middle, and he's able to, if the batsman shows his stumps and he goes to the left and he follows him that way, the wide Yorkers obviously one that a lot of bowlers do now, and he's got a good slower ball, and I just think that you know, he trusts him. And Owen Morgan's all about the trust, and he definitely trusts Chris Jordan, and that's why as you said, he's played that amount of games.
It's important what Alex is saying there, because when it comes down to bowling at the death, it's a very important position. I think we've seen that throughout T20. You look at some of the guys and the money they go for in the IPL. They're looking for that finisher in the middle order when they're batting, and when you're bowling, it's guys at the end who can restrict the scoring. It's not like the old days. If you go for 6 off your last over, you're pretty happy. These guys now, if they can keep it under 10, it's a good over. And I think what you've got with Chris Jordan is you've got someone who does watch the batsman. In his delivery stride, he can be that flexible in making his decision on where he's going to bowl it. And there's not many bowlers can do that. It's a serious skill that requires lots and lots of practice, because once you jump and you're in that delivery stride, that is the most important second you will ever have. That's the moment you have to adapt to where you're going to bowl it, and not enough bowlers do it. Jordan is one of the guys who does do it.
Well, Matt Pryor is a man that kept wicket in 2020 cricket for England, and also, of course, played a lot of cricket alongside him. The latter part of your career at Sussex, Matt, you would have stood up behind the stumps to him, you would have faced him in the nets. What kind of proposition is that as a wicketkeeper, but more importantly as a batsman?
Well, I certainly never stood up to him. I can say that much. But yeah, he has just gone. I mean, let's not forget, and I have to mention this because Trudes is on air. He was abandoned by Surrey, cast away.
Hey, I'm on air as well.
He was, well, sorry, Johnny Norman, but you know, Surrey. He was done. He was playing second team cricket. He sort of had his day. He went down to Sussex. Mark Robinson, to be fair to him, picked him up. And what he's gone on to do now is absolutely fantastic. One thing I would add, Owen Morgan is a big fan of franchise cricket, isn't he? He's always said he wants his players playing in the IPL, playing franchise cricket, and Chris Jordan is that guy. He's going from country to country, joining franchise. So that amount of experience, it's not just doing it for England, it's doing it on the big stage in 2020 competitions around the world. That is something that Owen Morgan will cherish in one of his players, and certainly a player like Jordan, who is so important.
There is a sad note to this as well. Another player that did hail from the Caribbean, represented England, former teammate of yours, Alex, and of yours, Goffey. You travelled with England with Joe Benjamin, passed away this year, and we believe that the England players will be wearing a black armband in remembrance of a man who went far too quickly, far too early this week.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, with Joey Benjamin, absolutely full of life, great personality to have around the team. Him and Devon were inseparable, Devon Malcolm, when they played for England. He made his debut in that game where Devon took 9 wickets, and then he went with us to Australia. It wasn't a memorable trip for Joey. He got chickenpox, didn't he, I think, over in Australia. But what a tourist, what a personality, what a friend. And I say, Alex knows a bit more about him. I mean, he played at his county.
Yeah, no, Joey's an absolute legend, and Ben and I really looked up to him. He took us under his wing. You know, he used to tell us some great stories. And I'll just tell you one quickly. When he came from Warwickshire, he came over, and Alex Stewart was captain at the time. And in his contract, he said, right, as a senior player, I need a sponsored car. So round by the Oval was Eurodollar. So he's gone round there, and Stewie's like, okay, let's take your car, let's take it back. And he's like, could you take it back for me? Alex, no, mate, just get in the car, drive it. So obviously, you know, he's tried to do so, stalled it. It looked horrendous. Stewie was like, mate, can you drive? Benji's like, no, I've got no license. So I think he got fined for that. But, you know, he's just a lovely guy. I've known no one. And, I saw Bickers put something on, and then Jason Ratcliffe called me. And, you know, just the messages that you've been seeing on social media and people saying who's been touched by Benji in his coaching. He worked in a school for a long time. You know, only good stories, and no one had a bad word against him. I don't remember anyone losing it with Benji. Such a lovely guy. And, you know, he had that magic wrist, you know, the away shape. Beautiful. And a lovely guy, and we sadly miss him.
Yeah, well said, Stu. Certainly one of the players I first started watching down at the Oval many years ago. Back to the cricket, and we did make mention of Jofra Archer. There was some question marks, Goffey, wasn't there, that he may be ruled out for part of this series. Maybe he'll be rotated. That elbow injury seems to be there or thereabouts. But wow, he's just to sit back and watch and enjoy when he does play for England, doesn't he?
Yeah, terrific talent. I've actually enjoyed him coming out, actually, and we're getting to know the real Jofra Archer with interviews he's done over the past few days, having a good old go at the old England captain, Michael Vaughan. It's good to see a bit of passion, actually, from Jofra Archer, because there is a lot of people seem to question whether he wants to play Test cricket. And I can see where them people are coming from, you know, sometimes. But what I see is a cricketer that's got so much talent, and I just want to see him fulfill his potential in every format, whether it be Test cricket. And I agree with rotating him, definitely. I've said this many times, haven't I? If he goes to the Ashes, he plays in probably 2 or 3 of those tests. He can make a big difference to that. I don't think many fast bowlers around the world can go in every single game and be expected to bowl at 90 odd miles an hour. Steve Armisen didn't do that. Steve Armisen didn't bowl at 90 miles an hour every game. He bowled some games where he was in the 80s, 86, 87. You know what I mean? And he might have bowled the odd one over 90. But for some reason, everybody expects Jofra Archer, because of that unbelievable debut, what we all saw against Australia, that he's going to bowl at 95 miles an hour every game. It's not going to happen.
No, it's right, Goffey. I'm his biggest fan. He's actually one guy that I would turn on from a bowling perspective and watch and pay. I think the thing with Jofra is... So we'll see this series. I guarantee you'll see a lot of balls in the 90 mile an hour. I think in white ball cricket, he knows his job, what he needs to do. I think in Test, I think he's still trying to, do I need to bowl 90 every day? Like Goffey's saying, I remember when he got those 5 wickets at Headingley, he sort of bowled at 85. I mean, that was my top pace. And people were moaning, you know, that he wasn't bowling 90. I said, you can't do that every day. And I just said, for me, if I was speaking to him, I'd just say, look, go to Root and ask him what it is that he's asking of you. Is he asking you to come on and bowl 4 or 5 overs as fast as you can, and then you're going to have a breather and we'll let Jimmy bowl the overs and Broady? Or are you bowling to bowl maidens? He doesn't strike me to be that. He's a wicket taker. And when you've got someone in your lineup who can bowl express pace, a bit like Mark Wood, short spells, no more than maybe, you know, definitely not 20 in a day, but, you know, sort of 15, maybe 18 if they're in rhythm. But let him loose. And everyone it just winds me. It does wind me up. You know, he's a massive talent. He obviously has a few little niggles, but once he gets to know his body, just let him loose.
Well, sorry, Matt. We never had a fast bowler, really. I mean, I remember when Devon played. Devon was exactly the same. If Devon didn't bowl 90 odd miles an hour, people would say, "What's up with him?" You know what I mean? And he can't do it every single game. And I think now we're getting, because we've not had that many out-and-out quick bowlers over the years, we get one like we've got Jofra Archer, and we expect him to do it every game. And it doesn't happen, does it, Matt?
No, it doesn't happen, and you'll know certainly far better than me from a physicality perspective and fast bowling. But what I'll pick up on is, Chudes, I think you're spot on. In any outstanding team, role clarity is one of those key words, right? And you look at the two England teams, Test team, one day and T20. Two captains, and I'm not putting any blame on Root here, but ultimately as captain, you're the guy that has to go to your players and say, this is what I want from you. And it has to be absolute. You look at the Test team that we've just watched, there are a number of positions there where I'm looking at it going, are you clear on what your role is? Are you clear on how you're meant to play, or how you expect it, or how the captain wants you to play? You look at this England one-day team and T20 team, Owen Morgan as captain, every player walks out there, they know, crystal clear, this is my job, this is my role, and Jofra Archer is in that. I think potentially it's easier in shorter form to have that role clarity, absolutely. But still, when someone like Archer, who has the ability to do everything, he needs to be clear on exactly what's expected.
And the first ball is pulled by Alex Hales with enormous power.
Hales is tapping away, and this time he's getting delivery that's driven in the air, that's going out to long off, over long off, that's into the crowd for 6.
6-4 goes Alex Hales. That is a boom boom of a start.
We all know what a brilliant player he is. So if he can be reintegrated into the side and playing well and warrant selection, then we'll call that.
You're listening to live and exclusive coverage of India against England, the first of 5 T20s, and they were the voices of Mark Nicholas, Barry Wilkinson and also Joss Butler. The topic, Alex Hales, and that is going to form the subject as we look ahead to today's T20 with the Times.
England's Tour of India preview on TalkSport 2 with The Times and The Sunday Times, the best team of writers in cricket. Try it free for 1 month at thetimes.co.uk/cricket offer. Subscription auto-renews unless cancelled. Terms and conditions apply.
There's a World T20 later this year. You might hear that mentioned once or twice today, but will England take their best team? The former of Alex Hales is making his case for inclusion difficult to ignore at the moment, and whilst the England captain Owen Morgan may still need a little convincing, our resident data analyst Jarrah Kimber has had a look at the stats to mount a case for Hales' defence.
Is pulled by Alex Hales with enormous power.
In Ben Stokes' book, he talks about the fact that Alex Hales was not in the 2019 World Cup squad because they really didn't see him as being indispensable with his off-field problems. This is ultimately true. England won that World Cup without him. And while Hales is a quality ODI player, his real worth has always been in T20. And his overall numbers have always been pretty damn good.
Hales is tapping away, and this time he's getting delivery that's driven in the air, that's going out to long off, over long off, that's into the crowd for 6.
Hales averages 30 in his career while striking 144. And from February 2017 until February 2020, he was averaging 32 with a strike rate of 148. But at Trent Bridge, he was averaging 37 with a strike rate of 177, and elsewhere he was striking 27 with a strike rate of 142. In that same period, Hales versus spin at Trent Bridge was an average of 51 with a strike rate of 208. Everywhere else in the world, he was averaging 22 with a strike rate of 127. It should be pointed out that Trent Bridge is the fastest scoring T20 ground in the world. But over the last year, Hales has completely changed everything. While most of the world hasn't played any cricket, he's played an astonishing amount of T20 games. And this isn't at Trent Bridge. He actually had quite a poor year for Notts. This has been in Pakistan and Australia.
What about this one? Could that be the 100? It is. What a knock this from Alex Hales. It is a hailstorm at the Adelaide Oval tonight.
There's no denying in the last year he's one of the world's best strikers. He's made the third most runs in the world in that time. And with players over 700 runs, he's the only one striking at better than 10 runs and over.
6-4 goes Alex Hales. That is a boom boom of a start.
In that period, he's clearly better than Roy and Bairstow, England's first choice openers, and even Butler and Stokes, their most logical replacements. I don't know if all that makes him indispensable now, but it must be a lot closer.
Wow, Jarrah Kimber there, crunching the data. According to the data, Matt Pryor, Alex Hales in the last 12 months is a better bet than Jason Roy, Joss Butler, Ben Stokes or Johnny Bairstow. Now, I've travelled the world with you, and one of the things that you've been very, very firm about is the importance of team. I don't think it's quite as easy to point to Owen Morgan as being the sole reason Alex Hales isn't in that side, but I do think it's difficult to see him coming back into that side whilst Morgan is captain. But where does the judgment come for captain and anyone involved in selection? If the guy is scoring the runs, yes, but you've got to balance it up with the needs of the team as well.
You do, and where Alex Hales is going to struggle is Owen Morgan made a huge call leaving him out that one-day World Cup, and it proved to be the right call. And England went on, and as we know, won the World Cup. So Owen Morgan, does he go back on that? What evidence does it? And only Owen will know this, because I know you say it's not just Owen's decision, but we know, sat here, that Owen has a very strong hold on this team. And from when Trevor Bayliss came in as coach, that's why they worked really well. Trevor was happy to just stand back and say, Owen, it's your team, you lead it, you play the brand of cricket you want to play, you're in charge, mate, and I'm here to support you. That's continuing now. So with this squad, and certainly with what he's done with that one-day team and winning the World Cup and knowing what a fantastic captain he is, who's going to stand there and go, no, Owen, we need to have Alex Hales in this team? If he's saying, I'm not having him. Because the question that will always come out, okay, how do you put value on team culture? How? And you can speak to Nasser and Rob Key, who will say it's absolute rubbish and everything else. I will always be on the other side because I played in a team that had it. And that culture won us things. It won us the Ashes in Australia. It won us World Cups. It won us games that we shouldn't have won. It's the thing that you back, and Owen Morgan and the other team, and Ben Stokes wrote in his book, and all those other guys that were involved in that World Cup win, it was their team culture that was created that allowed them to win that World Cup. Because they didn't go in and play brilliantly the whole World Cup. They actually had some poor form, but it was their culture that managed to get them through. And it's a high-risk decision to bring someone in. This word reintegration comes in, dare I mention it. And it's a high-risk decision to bring someone in that you know could have a negative effect. And I listened to, sorry, just to finish up, because I'm harping on a bit, but just to finish up, Owen Morgan, yes, I thought he answered the questions brilliantly, because he's focused on this series. Why would he want to put his existing players under more pressure by sitting there going, oh yeah, Alex Hales is close and this and that? Okay, we're talking about Alex, absolutely, but we're not talking on the back of Owen Morgan having given us anything. He's given us nothing. We're just coming up with it at the moment. I think that's brilliant from the England captain, personally. I think it's another show of how good he is at leading his group, because the most important thing to Owen Morgan is his group that are in India right now. The Alex Hales stuff is just noise.
England win the toss, they're going to have a bowl. Let's hear what the captain, Owen Morgan, has to say.
It's been a little bit of dew around, so we assume the same will happen. The temperature's been very, very similar in our build-up to this game. I think it's going to be an evenly full contest. I think whoever plays well will probably win, so we're very excited. You know, the opportunity to play in India 7 months before the World Cup against a very, very strong side is a huge opportunity.
You mentioned the excitement, #1 team in the world, a very strong side over here. What are the goalposts, apart from winning the series, of course? What are your goalposts for this team coming to India?
Yeah, I think continuing to try and evolve the game that we've already established. We know that we can play a positive, smart, aggressive brand of cricket. I think in amongst that, being challenged on this ground, 5 consecutive T20 games on this ground, it's probably going to turn and slow up as the series goes on. So that's a part of our game that we're trying to get better at, bowling on surfaces like that, but also get better at scoring runs on surfaces similar.
This is the toughest bit now. You're playing 11 for today.
Yeah, our playing 11 is very similar to the last series that we played. There's one change from that. Tom Curran misses out and Mark Wood comes in. So our attack is CJ, Jofra, Mark Wood, Adil Rashid, Ben Stokes and Sam Curran.
Thanks for your time and looking forward to an exciting series.
Thanks, Merlin.
Thanks, Morgie. Virat, would you have bowled first as well?
Yeah, probably would have bowled first as well. I think Dew's going to be a massive factor in the second half, and we would have liked to get into the game with the ball and try and restrict them to a decent total chase.
That was quite palpable even during the pink ball test match. Sometimes how do you counter it, the Dew factor for a team and from the bowler's point of view?
Well, look, to be very honest, we were probably looking to do something like this in a couple of games in this series where we wanted to bat first and test our bowlers with the Dew factor coming in. Because heading into the World Cup, this is the only time we have to really test the areas that we need to improve. Out there in the middle is the best place that you can try things and try and execute things. Having said that, you have to be at your A game as well. So guys have practiced bowling with the slightly wet ball in training sessions, and that's probably the only way you can get better at countering the Dew factor, because that is uncontrollable and you need to get better at your skill sets.
some fresh faces in your squad. So what are the goalposts you've set for them, and what can we expect from them?
Well, the goal is simple now. Heading into the IPL, then playing a T20 World Cup. The next few months will be very important from a team environment point of view. How we play as a team, what are we looking to create in the change room, what's the energy out there in the middle, and the guys who are not playing as well. A lot of celebration, a lot of happy faces, a lot of energy around the park. That is something that we're looking to create now, and the fresh faces will surely help in that regard.
Your playing 11?
Well, I'll just mention the playing 11 because we have a big squad, and we have many people to remember who are not playing. So KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan will open. Rohit's resting for the first couple of games. I'll bat at 3. Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya, Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel, Yuzvendra Chahal, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Shardul Thakur, and I don't know if I'm missing anyone out or not, but yeah, that's probably the makeup of our 11.
Thanks for it, Virat, and go well as well.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
That's what we have here.
Brilliant stuff. Murali Kartik there. Thanks to the host broadcaster for the interviews with the India captain Virat Kohli, who couldn't remember his team, and the England captain Owen Morgan, who said, guys, whoever wins well today will probably win the game. Goffey, let's have a look at the team though. And it is, as we kind of suggested earlier on in the piece, just one change from that final T20 against South Africa that took place at the start of December. So Jason Roy, Jos Buttler opening. David Malan, the number one batsman in World T20 cricket, hit 99 not out in the last match and was man of the match, player of the match, I should say. Johnny Bairstow for Ben Stokes, Owen Morgan. Whether Stokes and Morgan back on that order, we'll have to wait and see. Sam Curran, Tom Curran drops out. Chris Jordan, Jofra Archer, Adil Rashid, and then Mark Wood comes into that side. Any surprises at all there? And the focus, as it has been at times, will be on Moeen Ali. A perceived weakness within this England T20s team is the second spinner and the fact that they don't seem to have a third spinner.
Well, Moeen Ali, I think he's a fantastic cricketer, Johnny. I really do, and I think he plays for England in all formats. I think what we'll find when the Test series starts, if he's available, by the way, because he's at the IPL, I would expect him to be the spinner in the side come the Test matches. And in one-day cricket, which is his real skill, he's such a game changer, especially with the bat in this form. Because he hits sixes and he's a clever bowler as well. He turns the ball if the conditions suit him. So I think he's a big player for England. And Adil Rashid, for me, I've said it many times, how he doesn't get into the IPL out of all the spinners around the world. Some of the prices some players went for this year in the IPL, Jameson and the South African, what's his name again? Morris. And I think I put it out on social media. Adil Rashid will win you more games of cricket in T20 than those two put together. And he didn't get a gig, and those two went for mega bucks. So Adil Rashid's a massive player for England.
Well, Adil Rashid is the only bowler on both sides to actually be in the top 10 rankings. 9 of the top 10, by the way, is spinners. 4 leg spinners in there. So that may be one of the reasons Rashid hasn't been picked up. There are a lot of very, very good spinners on the circuit. But if I could bring in you, Tudes, Mark Wood coming into the side in place of Tom Curran. That suggests a different tactic for Owen Morgan's players to the one that we saw against South Africa a couple of months ago.
That's right. I'm excited. I mean, listen, we got 2 lads in our side who can get it up to 90 plus miles an hour. You know, Mark Wood has been in India for a long time. He's champing at the bit, and this is his opportunity. And it's all about taking your opportunities when you get into this England side, especially this ODI side and this T20 side. Because places are, they're few and far between. So when you get that opportunity, you need to take it. As you said, Tom Curran, who's sort of had the mantle, he's been left out. Mark Wood comes in, and I'm just excited to see, look at the speed gun and see what pace these guys are bowling. Obviously, Stokesy as well, and Chris Jordan. Really much looking forward to it. And as Goffey rightly said, Adil Rashid. I mean, that baffles me how he didn't get any love in the IPL. For me, he's England's number 1 ODI bowler, and he's not getting a gig. There's got to be something wrong there for me. But his loss is England's game.
It looks like Sam Curran as well has got like that second line. Because we're not going with Moeen Ali, we decided to go with Sam Curran instead. I think his performances in the IPL last season for Chennai were fantastic, and he proved he can bowl in those conditions against high quality players, and he can be very, very clever. He bowls well at the end of the innings, he bowls a good Yorker, he can swing the new ball. So I think Owen Morgan has found a way to get him into this starting 11, which I must admit 12 months ago I wasn't quite so sure he was going to get into the starting 11. I thought Tom would be the better option, or Moeen Ali as your second spinner, but he's gone for Sam Curran because of his experiences of the IPL and how well he's done, and he's going to have to play well this series if he wants to keep his place, because there's a lot of players knocking on the door for that one spot.
I did mention that we were going to hear your views briefly as well. We were talking about Alex Hales before the break. Now, if Jason Roy, and there is a little bit of pressure on his shoulders, scores buckets of runs, and so does Johnny Bairstow, then there's no argument, is there? Because that top six for England looks pretty much set in stone. They just need to continue doing what they've been doing for the last couple of years.
Well, it didn't look like Milan were ever going to get an opportunity, and look what's happened since he's got in. Joe Root can't get in the side now, and there's another player I'd probably still have in Joe Root. I mean, how can one of the best players in the world don't seem to get a sniff in the T20 side? But Milan's come in and absolutely surprised everyone at the way he's gone about his game, whether it be against the seamers or whether it be against the spinners. People doubted how he was going to play against the quicks. Well, you only have to look at now what he's averaged over these last 12 months since he's come into the side. He's been outstanding. He really, really has. The Alex Hales situation it's what Matt said is exactly right. Listen, we all know he's a fantastic player. I just think sometimes we're making calls and judgment calls on people's career, and we've done it in the past. We did it with Kevin Peterson, and we can come out with all the excuses, what he did right, what he did wrong, whose fault was it, but we took away a fantastic player for England from many, many games. And I believe we're doing the same with Alex Hales. It's been 2 years now, and there's been no conversation moving forward. That's the only thing that gets me. If they don't want him in the side and they don't think he's good enough, say it. But saying there's no forgiveness yet and there's got a lot of work to be done, get some balls, have the meeting, chat with each other and make a decision. He's going to play or not. Because just keeping the guy just on his edge of his seat, am I going to play? Are they going to forgive me? What do I need to do? He's not been able to do anything. When has he gone and sat down with the team and gone in and apologised and said, right, listen, I'm a changed bloke, this is what I want to do, I'm totally focused on regaining your trust, playing for England, I want to play in the T20 World Final. He's not even had that opportunity.
Well, there are indications that opportunity may come later this summer. Matt Pryor, looking at this side, it's difficult. It's a new ground. Historical data isn't really there to give us any real suggestion about how the pitch is going to play. All 5 pitches, all 5 games will be taking place on this pitch. But there was a domestic trophy earlier in the season, Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, and a hell of a lot of overs were bowled by spin. Now, it is a venture into the unknown, but England going in with just the one spinner, and the fact that we're still unsure whether they're going to, who their third spinner would even be. Could that be something that the Indian side are going to seek to take advantage of in much the same way they did during the Test series?
Yeah, it might be, and I think that may have, played into Owen Morgan's decision to play Sam Curran potentially instead of Moeen Ali. I know that goes against the grain slightly because there's been a lot of spin, but the Indians are fantastic players of spin bowling. So actually, if you ask Kohli and his, team of Indian outstanding batsmen, excuse me, do they want to face a seamer or do they want to face Moeen Ali bowling off spin into the right-hander? Well, actually, they're going, give me the spinner, please. So that may have been another reason why Owen went with Curran.
I think you may have hit the nail on the head, because I was surprised that Rohit Sharma missed these 2 matches. He's going to miss the second one as well. And they would have gone in with Sharma as well as Rahul. And then Kohli, of course, 3 right-handers. Moeen Ali is employed in the power play. Now, maybe that is one of the reasons that they've decided not to play him, and the fact that Rohit Sharma has been replaced by Shikhar Dhawan, maybe it's the old double bluff, but certainly that's one to keep an eye on. In terms of the Indian lineup for this T20 series, though, if England are pretty secure in their 9 or 10 of their 11, very different from India, who went into their recent test, or rather T20 series as Australia, with a very different looking side to the one that we're going to see today.
Yeah, I think it's been one of the big positives for India I mean, we know how many fantastic cricketers there are in India, particularly in short format, with the IPL and everything else. And I think they're in a great position where they can try a lot of young players, new cricketers, see how they step up to international cricket. And they're in a very different, as you just mentioned, they're in a very different position to England, where maybe there's one or two places that Owen Morgan's looking at. India, I think, are saying, right, well, let's try everyone out and see which is our best 11 or squad of 15. I don't know what a World Cup squad is these days, probably around 15, is it? They've got a huge squad. I mean, Virat struggled remembering his 11 there because that's how big their squad are. But I think they're in a great place to be able to try these guys out. They obviously have a lot. You don't pick someone if you don't believe they can perform. That's one thing I will say. And particularly Virat Kohli, as a competitor, he wants to win every game of cricket. So by no means is this let's give it a go and see where we get to. They're expecting these players to step up and perform. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, imagine having a squad of, to pick from 20, 25, 30 players. I mean, just incredible position to be in.
I think it's going to be an evenly full contest. I think whoever plays well will probably win. So we're very excited. The opportunity to play in India 7 months before the World Cup against a very, very strong side is a huge opportunity.
Dew's going to be a massive factor in the second half, and we would have liked to get into the game with the ball and try and restrict them to a decent total chase.
You're listening to TalkSport 2's live and exclusive coverage of India against England. Let's head over to your match commentator, Andrew McKenna, to revisit team news from Ahmedabad.
England have won the toss and they will bowl first. India have gone in with a lineup of KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan opening the batting. Virat Kohli's down to come in at 3. Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya and Akshar Patel are the engine room. Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Yuzvendra Chahal make up their side. For England, it's pretty much what we've seen in recent times. Jason Roy and Jos Buttler opening, David Malan, Johnny Bairstow, Ben Stokes, Owen Morgan, then into the all-rounders, Sam Curran, Jofra Archer, Chris Jordan, Adil Rashid and Mark Wood. That means no Moeen Ali and no Tom Curran on his 26th birthday either. They gave him a birthday card in the team huddle earlier and then gave him a high-vis vest for his seat on the bench. So thanks very much for coming. Enjoy your birthday.
Brilliant stuff, Andrew McKenna. I tell you what, Alex Tudor, this is the stuff that gets you going. If your hair, I'm not sure if I can see the hairs on your arms, but I'm pretty sure underneath that jumper they're standing up. What a crowd in this ground! What an occasion! And as we mentioned earlier, it's the top two teams in World T20 cricket going head to head. It doesn't get much bigger.
No, it doesn't. And as we said, we've got two fantastic teams, two teams that have star-studded. A lineup, X-factor players in all assets of the game, bowling, batting and also fielding, two very fit sides now. And as you say, people can listen to us on TalkSport 2 to hear it, because it should be a classic. As you said, the wicket looks like there should be some runs. As you said, the dew may be a factor later, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm just excited to see these guys come out, bowl. I think we'll see high pace. We'll see the batsmen KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan and the likes and Virat Kohli going about their work, and we'll just see what their skill level's like.
Goffey, for all of the wonderful nature of England's batting in T20 cricket and 50 over stuff, their bowlers within the power play actually under a little bit of pressure. The economy rate is one of the worst in world cricket over the last couple of years. They don't take a bundle of wickets. How do you see them lining up in that first 6?
Well, obviously Mark Wood, I think, surely is got to be opening the bowling with his pace alongside Jofra Archer. I mean, those two have got terrific pace. That on their day they can both bowl well into the 90s. But the thing with Mark Wood, though, is that they also like to use him once the first 6 is up as well, because he can skid onto the back, he can rush the batsman. So it all depends what Owen fancies. He's got loads of different options. I think normally Sam Curran as well, if you think the best way for him to bowl in the game is with a new ball in his hand to see if it's going to swing to be at his most effective. He's done that for Chennai as well. So he's got loads of options there. And if he had Moeen Ali in the team, he could even open with him for 1 or 2 others. But that's not going to be that situation today.
Absolutely, the crowd continuing to come into this very modern stadium. 110,000 seats. Not all of them available today, of course. Only 50% of the ground was open for the recent test series, and there are vast swathes of this stadium without spectators as those restrictions continue. You know, it is somewhat of a surprise, and I suppose we should celebrate the fact that the fans are in. The IPL gets underway on the 9th of April, and as things stand, there will be no fans in any of the grounds at the start of that tournament, which will be played in India. So unlike 2020, when the IPL was staged in the UAE, it will be taking place in India, which is what you want, I suppose. We're just about to get underway. The players lining up ahead of the national anthems. A reminder, if you're just joining us here on TalkSport 2, England have won the toss. It's 3 matches in a row, 2 for Joe Root and now 1 for Owen Morgan. But let's head out over to the ground as Owen Morgan lines up, a big smile on his face for the national anthems. Well, soak it up. What an atmosphere, and what a game we're bringing you here live on TalkSport 2. The world's best T20 sides, India and England, and bringing you coverage and commentary, our own big guns. The former England T20 wicketkeeper Matt Pryor, the former England fast bowler Darren Gough, and a man who's already standing up ready to commentate, it's Andrew McKenna.
Thank you very much, John. Excited about this one. This is going to be good. There's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some great cricket played in this. I've just got a feeling this is going to be a brilliant, brilliant series. Players now just getting themselves ready into the final moments before the umpires say play, and we get this 5-match series underway. Umpires, well, Nitin Menon is almost contractually obliged to stand in games at the moment because he is the only umpire that India have on the ICC international list. He did all the test matches and he's here once again. Joining him, though, a debutant. Kayanantha Padaman is standing in his first international, and I'm sure there's a little bit of nerves from his point of view as well. They turn around and see the Indian batsmen on their way. No Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli confirming at the toss he's resting for the first couple. So it is KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan opening up. Virat Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, Hardik Pandya, Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Yuzvendra Chahal are the Indian side. For England, it is Jason Roy, Jos Buttler, David Malan, Johnny Bairstow, Ben Stokes, Owen Morgan, Sam Curran, Jofra Archer, Chris Jordan, Adil Rashid and Mark Wood. So, Goffey, You're an England fast bowler standing at the end of your mark at the moment. How are you approaching this?
Well, I'd obviously be nervous, but I'll be hugely excited. Listen, the noise. I mean, this is live sport. We might eventually get this back in the UK very, very soon. Amazing atmosphere. It's a great stadium. We talked about this during the Test series, and this is what you play for, to get to the very top of your profession, international cricket, in front of a passionate crowd. And this one's in India, which is one of the best places to tour as an international cricketer. The atmosphere and the knowledge of the people of India is huge.
England are going with spin first up. Adil Rashid's going to bowl the first over. A little bit of surprise in that one, boys?
Well, this is a turn up. I mean, if Moeen Ali would have played, I would have said, yeah, I would have expected it. But going with the wrist spin of Adil Rashid, a bit of a surprise.
Well, Adil Rashid has been front and centre for England in T20 cricket, and he's got the new ball to have the first dibs. 51 wickets in T20 cricket, an average of 25.8 for Adil Rashid. We're on the final countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the cheer goes up because the umpire says let's play. Shikhar Dhawan will take the first ball. Rashid is in over the wickets, and the left-hander is deep in his crease, pushing out on the offside. Sam Curran will field no run. And breathe, everyone. We're underway.
Well, he middled that one, didn't he? Straight to the field.
Went flying off the bat, didn't it? Adil Rashid right in the deep end here.
Slip. Short third man on the 30-metre circle. Cover point on the circle. Ben Stokes is the man at slip as Rashid is in. It's the googly. Shikhar is back, pushing into the offside. Sam Curran does well to field that one as it bounces about a yard or so in front of him.
Well, it surprised us all, this one, hasn't it? Adil Rashid opening the bowling. Like I said, if Moeen Ali would have been in the starting 11, we would have expected it, or a Joe Root. But I don't think I can remember Adil Rashid doing this. I mean, I'm sure he has, but...
Well, especially as England don't have that many spin options, it seems to indicate that they're maybe thinking seen better for later. Rashid isn't, that's pulled down short, and Shikhar Dhawan will hit that into the leg side. It will go straight out to Johnny Bairstow. He's sweeping on the mid-wicket boundary, and it will be just a single, but that one most definitely didn't come out quite right.
You take one for that when you Adil Rashid. There was a bit of a drag down, to say the least, halfway down. Actually did Shikhar Dhawan a little bit, got down on one knee, ended up sort of lap sweeping it, pulling it, just for the one run.
KL Rahul then to take guard. Man who averages 44 in T20 international cricket, 200s, 12 50s, the best of 110 not out. And a few years ago, Alex Tudor and I commentated on him in the IPL when he smashed the fastest 50. It was insane.
Macca, this guy, how he's not in the Indian Test lineup, I can't believe it. He's a fantastic player. Fantastic. All round the pitch.
India won without loss after 3 balls. And here comes Rashid for the 4th ball, the first to KL Rahul. KL Rahul is just keeping everyone waiting at the moment. You're listening to TalkSport 2, first T20. In goes Rashid then to the right-hander. Lovely on-off stump, and KL Rahul is just pushing forward and pushes it straight back down the pitch to the bowler, no run.
Tell you what, might be a genius call this, but bowling Adil Rashid first over. And he's bowled brilliantly so far. Not surprisingly, to Shikhar Dhawan, the left-hander, he was bowling a lot of googlies, going away from the bat. Now to KL Rahul, going back with the leg spin. Much harder to hit as a batsman if the ball is spinning away from you.
Rashid in, little bit of air on that one. KL Rahul comes forward and pushes nicely to mid-on and will take a single. India go to 2 without loss.
And what we're saying about Adil, it's interesting the pace he's bowling it as well. It's pretty quick. We should say about the Indian spinners how well they bowled in the Test series, and they bowled it in the 90s, and compared to the England spinners who were in the 80s. But this is a dress rehearsal as well for Adil, because he's trying to put his name in the hat to play in the IPL. He keeps putting his name in, but nobody's taking him up. So this is the perfect opportunity for Adil.
So left-handed Shikhar goes, and he's an inside portion of the bat. From this one from Rashid, there was a little bit of loop on that one, and Rashid is just sucking the air in through his lips over his teeth at the moment, because that was a little bit aerial. Inside portion of the bat, little bit loose. End of the first over though, 2 without loss for India, and you're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2 with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team. It is of course writing with an edge.
Well, for me, that's 1-0 England. Right now, you want a fast start. I mean, in 2020 cricket, it's so crucial. Fast start, and it is all about that first over. For Adil Rashid to go for 2 runs, just the 2 runs, that is outstanding. Well done, Adil. Job done. And now we have Jofra Archer, the other end.
Totally different approach. Going from the leg spin of Adil Rashid and the mystery of Adil Rashid to the pace and bounce of Jofra Archer.
All right, well, we know he's got this elbow problem, so the speed gun's going to be interesting this first over. What's it going to be clocking at? Jofra Archer is in his 8th T20 international, 7 wickets at 30.9, a best of 2 for 29. And as John Norman mentioned, England have the worst economy rate in the last couple of years of all the full member nations in T20 cricket. They go at over 8. Jofra Archer's economy rate is 8. Here he goes then, right arm over, and it's KL Rahul punching, man alive. That he played that with all the time in the world into the offside. Straight to the fielder, there's no run, but that looked as easy as shelling peas.
The amazing thing is when you're bowling with one of these white balls, they're so hard. And you can bowl well and go for runs, as Matt talked about there, is to get away with going for 2 in that first over. There's nothing wrong with that ball, but it's just a nice crisp punch off the back foot, and it flies a yard out the side of the fielder, and that's 4 runs.
Archer in, right arm over, the little bit of wicket struck on by KL Rahul. Archer has the first wicket of the series. KL Rahul didn't quite get out to the pitch of that one. Inside edge onto the stumps. 2 for 1 India. 8 balls of the innings gone.
Yeah, KL Rahul, no footwork really. Was sort of, I think maybe he was waiting for the short ball. I don't know what was going on, but no footwork moving forward. Sort of just threw his bat out at the ball. Was pretty innocuous delivery outside, or some probably quite wide for an international 2020. Really, but KL Rahul, as I say, doesn't move his feet, tries to drive it through the covers. All he can do is get an inside edge back onto his stumps, and he has to go for 1. India 2 for 1 here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, I think what happened there, Matt, I think he just tried to use his hands, didn't he? Use the pace of the ball that Jofra Archer is throwing it down there. Just use his hands and just punch through the ball to try and get through the infield there of England, but he got an inside edge, and it's a massive wicket, by the way, getting Rahul. We were just talking about what a fantastic player he is, and when he gets going, he's a delight to watch. But a great start to dismiss Rahul, but guess what? It brings probably arguably the greatest one-day player in the world at this moment in time to the crease, Virat Kohli.
Who needs 72 runs to become the first to make 3,000 in T20 international cricket? That's how good he is. By the way, he doesn't have 100. His best in this form of the game is 94 not out. So he's made all of those runs, but hasn't made it to 3 figures yet. He's looking around the field that England are going to set. There's a slip in place. It is a wide slip, probably a second slip we'll call it. There's a short backward point, square cover, extra cover, mid-off, inside the circle on the offside. Virat is keeping everyone waiting. Now he is ready. Jofra Archer can go back in and bowl. Right arm over, and Virat Kohli is behind this one, pushing out on the offside, and it's Owen Morgan, the skipper, who's the man in at short in on the offside, who fields, and there's no run. 2 for 1, India, in the second over of this T20 international. 5 T20s coming your way. Sunday is the next one, then Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and then 3 50-over one-day internationals.
Well, definitely settled the nerves this for England. Always nervous going into any new series.
Archer in, right arm over. Kohli just playing from the crease, drops it down into the offside, and there's no run.
Yep, it's been fast start from England. Absolutely. Perfect for Owen Morgan, England captain. Sure, in his team talks as they're walking out in their huddle, saying get that first over under belt, and early wickets. Wickets in the first 6 overs are crucial for keeping the runs down.
Doesn't that buzz of the crowd noise just sound great? We've missed that. Archer, right arm over. Oh, that one's climbed on Virat Kohli. That has, I think, taken him on the back shoulder. That's bounced off of a length. Maybe just taking him high up on the bat, maybe the gloves, but Virat Kohli is now just having a little look down the pitch, exchanging a nod with Shikhar Dhawan. That has hit the seam and climbed. It actually takes him on the top hand. Well, boys, lively.
Well, lucky not to break his fingers, because that is when it does happen, when you have your glove holding the bat and it just traps it, and that's where you normally get the old broken digits. But good pace from Jofra Archer, bit of bounce with the new ball.
Archer goes in once again. Virat Kohli is trying a hack. Yes, I'll repeat that. Virat Kohli is trying a hack, everybody, and as a result he's hit it with no timing whatsoever, and it trickles out on the leg side, and it's the end of the second over of the innings. India are 2 for 1 here on TalkSport 2.
Wicket made him, Macca. He doesn't look happy there, does he, Virat Kohli? Absolutely. For instance, that they tried to go back, didn't he, with a big... And sometimes there is players around the world who do that. You bowl them a good delivery, a bouncer that just traps them. They want to put it back onto you, that next delivery, and I think he just tried to show, but listen, it's not going to bother me, I'm going to hit you back over your head. But good start from England and good start from Jofra Archer.
Well, Adil Rashid is going to continue for his second. This is the first time that he's ever bowled the first over of a T20 international, and he's now going to bowl the second over, and Shikhar Dhawan is going to go across his stumps, flick it down to Chris Jordan at short fine leg, and there's no run.
What was he doing there? I nearly did a little dance, wasn't he?
Well, I think Archer sort of feigned to throw at the bowler's end, throw the ball back, having done the fielding. And I think Adil, again, happy to have a dot ball. It's like, no, hold the ball, hold the ball.
The left-handed Shikhar Dhawan has 1 from 5 deliveries. Adil Rashid waits at the end of his mark, and then 3 or 4 steps, goes in, and Shikhar is going to have a huge heave into the leg side once again. Owen Morgan will field at square leg. Single will be taken. So Shikhar goes to 2, India go to 3 for 1, and Virat Kohli gets to come down and face Adil Rashid.
Interesting so far, this wicket. I mean, there have been quite a few cloth, haven't they? As you were saying, Goffey, new white ball, Indian surface. You'd expect most to be coming out the middle. I wonder if it's a little bit too-paced.
Well, the talk at the toss was that it would be interesting to see what effect the dew would have later on, if there is any. Will it skid on? We shall wait and see. Adil Rashid in his second over to bowl to Virat Kohli. The leg spinner is in. Kohli's given himself some room, but he's hit it straight to mid-off, and Chris Jordan takes the catch, and Virat Kohli can't believe it. India are 2 wickets down, halfway through the third over. They're 3 for 2. Virat Kohli goes for a duck. 5 balls for him, but Adil Rashid has another wicket as Virat Kohli picks out mid-off.
Well, it looks like the short ball from Jofra Archer really shook him up. He tried to whack the next ball over mid-on and clothed it, and then he gets down the end of Rashid, who's bowled really well and tight. It's a little bit short. He's clothed it after backing away to try and hit it over the offside, and he's clothed it straight to the safe hands of Chris Jordan. Kohli, another duck. They just keep on coming for Virat Kohli against England. India 3 for 2 here live and exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Well, Virat Kohli gets out to another England spinner. He couldn't believe it in the Test series when Moeen Ali got one to rip through his defences. He's got out again. However, now we have a potentially significant moment, Matt Pryor, because Rishabh Pant enjoyed himself in the Test series. He's now coming in this T20 game. He's joining Shikhar Dhawan at the crease.
Well, he's been playing 2020 for a while now, hasn't he? The last few weeks. Reverse sweeping Jimmy Anderson, so he'll have his iron. I mean, it's an absolute treat watching him play Test cricket, so very, very excited to see how he approaches this 2020.
I mean, statistically, this is his 29th game, 410 runs at just over 20, highest score of 65 not out with 250s and a strike rate of 121.7. I think he might end his career with numbers slightly higher than that. Rashid goes in, Pant is giving a loopy delivery and hitting it to Chris Jordan at mid-off. There is no run. Just seeing a replay of that Virat Kohli shot. He's backed away, tried to free his arms, but has only hit it straight to Jordan. And Rashid can't contain his excitement. Rashid is now in to Pant, deep in the crease, just pushing back down the pitch, no run.
Well, we talked about the dress rehearsal, didn't we, for Rashid? He's probably thinking now there's a few teams out there in the IPL saying, have we not picked this guy up? He can bowl in the middle, he can bowl at the death, and now he can bowl with a new ball.
Rashid, final ball of his second over. He's got 1 for 3 so far. Rashid goes in. Rishabh Pant hits down on this one through point, and that will be away for a boundary. Rishabh Pant is underway with a 4. India are 7 for 2 after 3 overs. You're listening to India against England here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, another one going across the left-hander, another googly I think it was, or maybe a slider, just giving that little bit too much width, and a batsman like Rishabh Pant doesn't need too much width, that is for sure. Just rocks back, just has to get some bats on it really, times it away beautifully, past the right hand of the backward point fielder. Can't quite make out who that is, but that will settle the nerves for Pant. But still a fantastic start for England. I mean, they would have bitten your arm off for this. India 7 for 2 currently, going into the third over.
2 left-handers at the crease now though. Does that change anything in terms of the planning?
Well, no, because we ain't got an off-spinner.
Fair point, well made. Yes, moving on. So it'll be Jofra Archer, wicket maiden in his first over as he got KL Rahul. He's on his way now. Shikhar Dhawan is getting one round about leg stump. He's turning it round the corner, and it will be fielded by Johnny Bairstow, who's coming in off the boundary on the leg side for just a single. 8 for 2. India, 4th over in this T20 game on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, that's very good bowling to a batsman like Dhawan. Everyone knows he likes having his arms, he likes the ball going across him, so he can just stand there and have a free swing of the ball. Archer this time coming in, keeping his line very tight, bowling at Dhawan's sort of hip thigh area, so all he can do is nudge it down for a single. England don't mind singles, it's the boundaries they want to stop.
Shikhar Dhawan, by the way, another of the players who've played a decent amount of games, doesn't have 100, which for his talent in T20 international is surprising. Best of 92 with 11 50s. Right, Jofra Archer has a slip in place. England are going to have a slightly straight square leg. Archer is going to go into the left-handed Pant. Pant's jumping in behind that one, and there is no run.
I think it's surprising the Indian batsmen here, the amount of bounce in the pitch really took them by surprise, but it shouldn't do, because if you remember the test match on this ground with the new ball, there was a little bit of carry, so there's a bit of pace there for the fast bowlers, especially with the new ball in hand.
Amazing what you can do when you're a groundsman, isn't it? All these different types of pitches. When you want to produce a fast bouncy one, you can. Archer in, Pant hurried a little bit, turns it into the leg side. There won't be a run as it's fielded at short mid-wicket. Jofra Archer has bowled 9 deliveries and has 1 for 1.
Certainly not looking comfortable, are they, the Indian batsmen? They're not, you know, you can look in a batsman's footwork, how they play their shots. They're jumping around a lot, they're moving around the crease. Even there, you know, Pant sort of almost acting as if the ball kept a bit low, or did something that he wasn't expecting it to do.
He waits, bat raised, now taps it as Archer goes in. Again, roundabout middle stump, Pant in behind it, just troughing it down at his toes, offering Shikhar Dhawan if he wants to come through, but frankly that would have been suicidal, so it remains 8 for 2. The current run rate is less than 2 1/4 in a T20 game. In Test match cricket at the moment, that's slow.
Well, wickets is the key. We've been saying this ever since it started. Way back in 2003, was it? In county cricket, we always used to say wickets is the key. It stops the scoring rate. Oh, it slows it down.
Absolutely. Archer turns, sets on his way for the 5th ball of the over. It's a reverse by Rishabh Pant off Jofra Archer, and does that go all the way for 6? It does. Man alive, this kid's incredible.
That is
14 for 2.
That is absolutely ridiculous. What a shot this is. One thing doing it to Jimmy Anderson in a test match, a whole nother thing doing it to Jofra Archer, who's bowling quick, by the way. Few balls have bounced and hurried the batsman. This time Pant, I mean, I'm pretty certain his eyes were shut when the ball hit the bat, but fair play to him, gets down, turns the bat around in his hands and scoops it over Josh Buttler, the wicketkeeper, and all it goes for 6 runs.
There's got to be easier ways to hit a 6, surely. I mean, talk about wanting to make it as hard as you possibly can. You're facing a bowler who's bowling at 90 plus, and you're reversing it.
to a ball that's about 6 inches outside off stump as well. That's the incredible thing. Archie goes in again. Pant. Oh my goodness, what a shot. Turning it off his legs through backward square leg for 4. Hits the middle of the bat and flies away. Rishabh Pant continuing his form from the test matches. 4 overs gone here on TalkSport 2. India are 18 for 2.
Well, as you would expect from Jofra Archer, the next delivery was a little bit quicker. He was just edging onto leg stump, but Rishabh Pant, that's more of an orthodox flick off the legs, in between the fielders, and it runs away for a 4 to finish with 6-4 the last 2 balls of that over. He just goes to zone. Something ridiculous to play a shot, a game-changing shot, and then the next ball, all of a sudden you get a bad delivery on the leg stump and you're flicking for 4, 10 off 2 balls.
Well, the spin option has ended for the time being for England because Adil Rashid will be replaced and Mark Wood is into the attack. Mark Wood, who has been lightly used, shall we say, by England this winter. This is his 12th game of T20 international cricket. 18 wickets at 20 with a best of 3 for 9.
All he's done this winter is his status on his air miles has gone from bronze to gold. Mark Wood just been used to go back and forth on flights.
Well, he's on his way in. He's on the launch pad, now down the runway, and he's in. And that's quick, fast, and outside of off stump. And he's asking a polite question of Nitin Menon that did Shikhar Dhawan get anything on the way through? It was one of those that it's wide enough, you throw your hands at it.
He's trying to stop the wide being given Macca, that's what he's doing.
149, by the way, guys. 149 kilometres per hour. That's a pretty fast first ball.
That's about 91 miles an hour, by the way, for those that can't convert.
Well, he's fresh. I'm just saying, he's very, very fresh. He's been sat in his room playing PlayStation for 6 months.
He's on his way again. He's bowling around the wicket to Shikhar, and that is cramping up the left-handed opener for a little bit of room. Pushes out on the offside. David Malan will field, and there is no run. That was 150 kilometres an hour. So Mark Wood is definitely cranking it up. We've seen Jofra Archer crank it up and get reverse flicked over the wicketkeeper's head for 6. It's going to be good, this. This is going to be 5 cracking games of cricket. Shikhar Dhawan awaits Mark Wood. He's at the end of his mark, turns, and he's on his way in. Right arm around the wicket. Oh, Shikhar Dhawan is looking to play that into the leg side. Sort of bailed out on the shot. Ended up hitting it into his own thigh. It trickles out. They'll take a single as Ben Stokes can't prevent the single. And India 19 for 2.
I do like Woody and Archer bowling in the same team together because I think it just keeps them both on their toes. I've asked them this in interviews before, and when one of them is bowling a little bit quicker than the other, it just revs him up a little bit more. So if Archer's bowling quicker than Woody just tries to step it up a little bit more, and I think it's good. It's always good to have competition.
149, 150 and 152 kilometres an hour for Mark Wood so far in this over. Around the wicket he goes once again. Rishabh Pant is playing a forward defensive, just drop into the offside, take a single. Stokes is the nearest man to it and he can't prevent it. So 20 for 2 are India as Rishabh Pant takes another single. So what might be interesting from Mark Wood's point of view, he had that one match in the IPL for the Chennai Super Kings a few years ago. He did a brilliant interview with Harmy about that, and he said, I was completely unprepared, I wasn't ready, I didn't understand what I needed to go and do. He'd love to go back and get another crack at the IPL. So here is another chance to say that actually I've learnt from that.
No, he's decided not to play in the IPL, Macca, this year. He wants to spend some time with his family. He's been away a lot with everything that's been going on.
Wood around the wicket, short ball. That's a good one. Shikhar Dhawan just bails out on that one, allows it through to Jos Buttler. And that's another ball that's the thick end of 150 kilometres an hour, so another 90 odd miles an hour.
Yeah, he pulled himself out, Macca, of the auction. He wanted to spend some time at home.
Sorry, I think I meant, generally speaking, he'd like to give it a go at some point, but obviously this year is a little bit different.
He'll have to wait till next year now.
Yeah.
A year older.
But it was very interesting in talking to Harmy that he basically completely underestimated the IPL when he had that previous crack at it. Final ball of the over then. Mark Wood around the wicket to Shikhar Dhawan. And that bowled swing across the line from Shikhar. He was aiming not into the leg side, over it and out of the stand, and he's bowled 4 from 12 deliveries, and this is dream start for England. India are 20 for 3 after 5 overs. Shikhar Dhawan, KL Rahul and Virat Kohli all dismissed. That one just trims the bails, but it's enough, and England have their 3rd wicket.
Outstanding start from England, of course, and an outstanding start from Mark Wood. He's been fast, he's been accurate, and that really was a bit of a hack across the line from Shikhar Dhawan. Clips the top of middle, thuds into the top of middle. Shikhar Dhawan goes for 4 of 12 balls. India now 20 for 3. Great start from England here, live and exclusive on TalkSport 2.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic start. And it's just a team effort so far, isn't it? I think when you start off with Rashid, surprised us all, actually, Owen Morgan, by giving him the new ball. He got off to an absolute flyer. You get Jofra Archer then, gets obviously off to an absolute flyer, and the pressure just keeps on building. And now 3 wickets down for 20 runs. England in a great position here, Macca.
What a start it's been. Let's let Guy Swindles come in and join the fun as he takes over the ball by ball.
Well, I hope I get 5 overs like you've just had, Macca. That was remarkable stuff, wasn't it? What a start from England. And Mark Wood, just what Darren Gough was saying. I remember in the Cricket World Cup final, he said he loved bowling with Jofra Archer because it just fires him up. It gets him going. He wants to bowl quicker. He wants to bowl better. And that over was outstanding.
Absolutely superb. He come in, he's fresh. As I said, he's had a strange old winter, hasn't he, Mark Wood? He was out there in India, went home, got his garage built out, put a gym in it, then went back to India, didn't play when everybody thought he was going to play. But now he's got his opportunity.
Well, as Chris Jordan comes into the attack now, and it's punched into the covers by Rishabh Pant, no run. Interesting that Chris Jordan's coming in at this stage.
Well, it's good for Chris Jordan to be coming on at this stage, because normally he comes on when the ball's flying to all parts and he has to start straight away with his slower balls and his Yorkers. But because of the good start England have had, taking 3 wickets, as I said, it's the best way to slow down the run rate, and it's a good time to come on and bowl.
Well, certainly Mark Wood showed it was a good time to come in and bowl, as that's pitched up nicely by Chris Jordan, almost Yorker length, dug out by Rishabh Pant, goes to mid-off, no run.
Yeah, they look shell-shocked, India, don't they? 20 for 3, don't happen very often this. They normally get off to an absolute flyer. It's one of their strengths when they got Rohit Sharma in the side, but he's been rested for the first 2 games, and so far the changes have not worked. And England absolutely on fire.
They are, as Jordan comes in right arm round. Now Rishabh Pant gives him the hammer out to deep point, but there is Adil Rashid. It bounces in front of him. In fact, in the end, a bit of a loose throw, and they thought about possibly some overthrows, but Ben Stokes swept up. But in the end, there's just a single from that. Slightly chaotic moment in this match. Everyone's smiling, and it will be Shreyas who faces.
It is just using the pace there, Pant. A little bit of width from Chris Jordan, just threw his hands at the ball, and it went a yard to Rashid's left hand, and he just got his hands to it to stop it going for the boundary. That's the power that these guys have in international cricket these days. Owen Morgan doing a good job with the field, making sure they're all in the right position.
Jordan in again, this time right arm over to the right-handed batsman, and that's punched out into the covers where Ben Stokes fields. There is no run. Shreyas Iyer has played 24 one-day internationals, got an average of around 27, a couple of 50s, highest score 62, knows what he's doing with the bat in this.
Terrific player, mate. Absolutely terrific player. You only have to watch the IPL and to how good a player he is.
Good over this by Jordan, though. 3 dot balls, just the 1 run from it as we come to the 5th ball of the over. Oh, and that surprised, a little extra bounce there. Jumped up in front of Shreyas, who looked relieved of being able to keep the ball down on the ground.
Well, there's a little bit in it, this pitch, with the new ball. There's a little bit of extra bounce. The Indian batsmen have not been able to cope with it, but we got some pace in this side. You got Archer, you got Wood, and you got Jordan, who are all pretty handy on the pace, on the speed gun.
And Ben Stokes isn't too sluggish if he actually needs to turn his arm. So In comes Jordan then, just the one off his first over so far. This is the last ball, and that is cut away beautifully, but there is a fielder there at third man, Mark Wood, and he tidies up just the single. Excellent first over from Chris Jordan, just the 2 runs from it, and after 6 overs the Indians 22 for 3, less than 4 and over.
Yeah, great start from England, huge discipline, loads of energy, accuracy, brilliant captaincy, used his bowlers well, surprised everyone with bowling Rashid with that new ball, and he got his rewards with taking the wicket of the legend that is Virat Kohli, and the rest of them have backed him up, whether it be Archer, whether it be Wood, and Jordan off to a good start there, just going for 2 runs from his first over. Brilliant England.
And it's interesting, we were talking about the fact we were going in with just the one spinner and plenty of pace attack, and wondered whether that was the right way to go into this game. At the moment it looks as if they've got things just about right, England, on the selection front.
Well, it looks like it, doesn't it? There's a little bit of bounce there with the new ball, the white ball. I said he got bowlers that are fresh. Archer's had 10 days rest now after the test series. You got Wood, who's not played at all, Jordan, who's chomping at the bit to get out there playing for England in T20, his speciality, and same with Rashid, so loads of energy from England.
As in comes Mark Wood again, throws his body into that delivery that is punched away just a backward of point, just for a single. We've only seen one of the Wood tumbles so far, when he throws himself forward with such gusto that he actually hurls himself to the ground, but certainly rushing in at the moment. And remember, you're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on Talk Sport 2, with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team writing with an edge. As we on the monitor next to us, we see a selection of the wickets that have fallen already. England, how they would love a 4th at this stage, but you can't have too much of a good thing. As Wood, right arm round again. This time he does take a tumble as he throws himself forward with that delivery. Pressure he puts on his ankles is astonishing sometimes, Mark Wood, but at the moment he has survived that. And there is just the single from it, and Shreyas moves to 2. Pant is on 17. India are 24 for 3, and we've had 6.2 overs, and Alex Tudor is with me on commentary now.
Afternoon, Guy. Afternoon, everybody. Wow, what a start from England. Some serious pace being thrown down by the England bowlers. I don't care who you are in the world, no one likes it when it's coming round your nose hole.
And that is certainly what England are doing at the moment. As in comes Wood again, and that's full and it's quick, and it's punched out to point, and there is no run.
And it was interesting, actually, before Virat got out, the ball before wrapped him on the gloves, and then the next ball he just gave himself a little bit of room, played a little bit of a hack, which you don't normally associate yourself with Virat. And then Mark Wood bowled an extremely quick bumper to Shekhar Dhawan, and then next ball he's had a hack. It just does funny things when you're bowling 90 plus. The feet start to do funny things, and England have pace in abundance.
94.4 I've just heard Mark Wood has been up to so far, as he comes charging in again, and that is again pitched up. It's flicked off his legs, and such was the pace that Wood bowled. That went very fine indeed, and it's gone for 4. The first boundary from Shreyas. India's score goes to 28 for 3. Slightly leg stump Mark Wood, but the ball just flying off because he's bowling so quick.
Yeah, just his line a little bit too straight. Shreyas just using the pace, guiding it down to fine leg. Fielded down at fine leg's got absolutely no chance. That's gone like a tracer bullet. 4 runs.
Didn't have to move very far either, but it was onto the boundary ropes before he could move, as Wood comes in again. 5th ball of his over. That's shorter, and the hand comes off the bat. A big outside edge that in the end ends up in the arms of third man, where Adil Rashid was rather surprised to see it coming at pace. Bounced in front of him, but a moral victory for Mark Wood on that delivery.
And I know, hopefully people listening and, people normally associate 2020 with a lot of runs, boundaries, 6s and 4s. But I love this as an ex-bowler. Seeing bowlers running in, bowling 90 plus, bowling fast. And I know people say, well, we want to see runs. I want to see bowlers bowling quick. And that's what Mark Wood's doing here tonight. Fantastic bowling. Quick, as you rightly said, Guy, 94 miles an hour he's clocked so far.
And in fact, that last delivery was only just short of Adil Rashid. The last was close to being a catch. I hadn't realised just how close it had come to him until I saw the replays. That's pushed out into the covers. Owen Morgan picks the ball up. There is no run from that final ball. So 7 off that Mark Wood over, and India 29 for 3 after 7 overs. I suppose the good news for India is they've finally managed to get the run rate over 4.
Yeah, it's not been easy. They say England have had some good rests. You've got a couple of guys coming in fresh, as you said. As Goffey was saying, Mark Wood, he's been chomping at the bit to have a go, and he's just showing what he can do. As he said, he's had a conversation with TalkSport's very own Steve Harmison about maybe harbouring ambitions of getting into the IPL again, and there's no better place to showcase that in front of the Indian crowd and the Indian supporters. So it's great to see. And as you say, India just have to rebuild here, take their time, and as I say, there's always someone that they're going to target, and who is that bowler going to be?
Well, talking of TalkSport 2 alumni on the commentary team, Kevin Peterson has just tweeted that Rishabh Pant's 6 was the greatest shot he's ever seen, and he played 1 or 2 quite useful ones, so high praise indeed.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Ben Stokes, the pace barrage continues as far as England are concerned. That's pitched up, it's played nicely out to mid-on. They rush through for a quick single to Jofra Archer, and just the 1 run. England, though, happy with the way that the seam attack is going at the moment, and Stokes might bowl a little more than he thought he might.
I'll say, captain's only as good as his bowlers, and what options Owen Morgan has at his disposal. 4 bowlers used so far. I'm just going to throw one to Ben Stokes now. Unbelievable options.
And if the ball swings at all later, Sam Curran hasn't actually picked up a ball and bowled in anger yet, as Stokes again right arm over the wicket, and that's clipped away very nicely by Pant to square leg, where it's picked up by Mark Wood, who gets the ball in quickly, and they can only take a single.
It's fantastic just to just see the lads they look really up for it. Sometimes you can tell in the body language and everything. As I say, they're disappointed, especially the lads that have overlapped and played the Test series. They want to show everyone what they're about and put a few wrongs right. They look on it tonight.
Well, if England can keep this going, and that's a big if, then it's a statement, it must be said. As that's very well bowled indeed by Ben Stokes. Almost squares Shreyas up, but he does well to keep the ball down, plays it out to deep cover, and there's another single.
What India have, though, they have 2 young guys in at the moment. This is the future of Indian cricket with Pant, with Shreyas Iyer. They're fantastic players. People that have listened to us on TalkSport 2 when we've covered the IPL, they're fantastic players, very explosive, but they're just going to have to just build the next 4 or 5 overs, get their team up so they can maybe explode at a latter stage.
Then comes Stokes again. We've just had the 3 singles. There won't be a run this time, as it's Sam Curran who dives to his right to stop the ball, and just the 3 so far off this Ben Stokes over, the 8th of the innings. 32 for 3 here on TalkSport 2 India, after an explosive start that saw wickets for Archer, Rashid and Wood that really did leave India reeling. At the moment rebuilding, as in comes Stokes again, flicked away into the leg side. Very quick run, very well taken run, as Sam Curran was on the ball, but they decided early to go cross, and that's the 4th single of this over.
You can always tell how well you're doing when you're in India. As Matt would know, I've never played over in India, but if you can keep that crowd quiet, you're doing well, let me tell you.
Yeah, then you're right, considering there are 50,000 plus in there, and the sound that an Indian crowd, well, the crowd was making before the match started, and when Virat Kohli came out to bat, you could barely make yourself heard. But now things are a little more subdued as Stokes is in again. Again, a full length, driven up to mid-on. Jofra Archer does the honours. A 5th single, just the 5 runs from the over. This is all good stuff for England. There's now 8 overs of the 20 have been bowled, and India 34 for 3. They're going to have to get some fireworks going from somewhere, And the final 10 overs, well, it's going to be a very interesting battle indeed as we stand at the moment. Dhawan bowled Wood 4, KL Rahul bowled Archer 1, and Virat Kohli is caught slogging Rashid, Jordan taking the catch, Kohli going for a duck. Rishabh Pant is 19 not out, Shreyas is 10 not out. You're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2 with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team, led by Lizzie Ammon and former England captains Mike Atherton and Sir Alistair Cook. So, if you're Owen Morgan, what are you saying at the moment, Tudes?
Lads, carry on. Give me some wickets. Let's just get into them. We know Hardik Pandya. He's one of my favourite cricketers. He's devastating. For a guy who's slightly built, he hits the ball many a mile and he gets on with it. We're just seeing Sam Curran coming into the attack now, so we'll just see if there's a little bit of swing and purchase here.
Yeah, after been softened up by the pace, a little bit of swing possibly for Sam Curran. He's bowling left arm round, full length, virtually Yorker, dugout, no run. Curran fielding off his own bowling with a bit of a blonde rinse. He's managed to find a hairdresser in lockdown.
Yeah. Or he's done it himself.
Yeah, it looks actually as if he has done it himself.
I think he might have done it himself.
Yeah. Or lost a bet.
Yes. Yeah. Slower ball to start off, round the wicket. I like when Sam comes round the wicket, just to change the angle, gives batsmen something else to think about.
So it is, once again, scuttling in with the run, the left arm protected as it always is by a blue elastic band, and the ball is played out into the leg side. They trot through for a single. The first run conceded off the bowling of Sam Curran. As Owen Morgan certainly ringing the changes in this first 9 overs. We've had 6 bowlers so far. Curran, though, continuing the good work laid by the previous bowlers in the attack, keeping runs very much to a minimum. So Mark Wood's the only bowler so far to have cranked it up over 150 kilometres an hour. As in comes Curran again to the left-hander, left arm over, flicked away to mid-on by Rishabh Pant, no run. The crowd being exhorted to make some noise as it's Hardik Pandya warming up that seems to be creating the excitement amongst the fans here. As in comes, we're watching a replay of that second ball from Sam Curran that was very watchfully played by Rishabh Pant, and there we have a bit of a bouncer, and Rishabh Pant has to get a long way down to duck underneath it. It wasn't that high a bouncer, I don't think.
No, he can surprise you, Sam, just when you think you can just lunge at him on your front foot. He does test you with a little bit of a short one. Didn't quite get up as Rishabh Pant, but he ended up playing that extremely well. But it just gets the batsman thinking about it. He's not just bowling it with these slower balls and bowling length balls. He does have a bumper in him, and a good one, especially as you don't expect to. And because he's not that tall, it skids onto you.
So another good over by an England bowler. 4 balls delivered so far, just the 1 run scored from it. It's Curran into Rishabh Pant. Pant this time almost in slow motion plays the ball off about middle and leg to Adil Rashid at deep square leg and trots through for a single, and he's shaking his head. He can't quite get to terms with the wicket, you feel, at the moment, Rishabh Pant. He's just not sure how to score quickly.
Yeah, it's not quite happening the way he would want to, but we saw in the test series, even though he has got some gears which he can go extremely quick, he's just got to take what's on offer at the moment and take the game long and take it deep.
Well, at the moment, England bowling beautifully. Sam Curran round the wicket, and that, though, is flicked off around middle and leg and has gone for 4. So just straying ever so slightly down the leg side, and it will be 4 for Shreyas Iyer. He takes his score on to 15 from 13 deliveries. Pant has got a run of ball 20 at the moment, and India needed that one, you feel, Tudes. They really did. They were just getting bogged down.
I cannot tell you and stress to you the amount of times that happens to a bowler. Matt, as a keeper, would know. It's like, just get out the over. You've bowled a fantastic over, and then you just go searching, and the amount of times it goes to a boundary, and then you look at your keeper, you look at the captain, and they're hands on hips, and they're like, why don't you just do exactly what you were doing? And you do sometimes. The amount of times I've seen it in commentating and also done myself, where you just bowled a fantastic over and your last ball goes for a boundary.
Well, it's 40 for 3 after 9 as Ben Stokes comes in for his second over. Slightly slower delivery, and that deceived Rishabh Pant, who was looking to give it the big heave-ho over towards Cow Corner, and in the end had to check the shot. It goes out to mid-on, no run. Clever piece of bowling by Ben Stokes.
Yeah, slower ball. I think the words got round, I think when the ball's slow, and it just seems like maybe popping a bit, so Sam's tried it, and also with Jofra and Chris Jordan, they've tried it also, so a lot of slower balls here tonight.
Stokes in again. That is nearer the full pace, and that's clipped away onto the leg side, but only for a single, as Milan does the fielding into Josh Butler behind the stumps. And again, a slightly disgruntled look about Rishabh Pant at the moment. He wants to get going, he wants to get the crowd going, who now have all their phones lit up, and it looks like the night sky in this enormous stadium as the light shines down on what has been a very good England performance at the moment. As Stokes in again, punched away, and this could go all the way. What a lovely shot that was, and signs now that Shreyas Iyer is beginning to get his eye in, and that one flew beautifully, punched off the back foot through the point region for 4.
That was like a Joe Root back foot punch. If you can imagine Joe Root when he's on top form and he plays that sort of back foot punch, not much effort, using the pace of the ball. Jason Wright backward point, no chance really, goes past him very quickly. Little bemused as Ben Stokes, guy of third man, no chance, 4 runs. It's looking good, Shreyas.
Ben Stokes in again, and that's tucked away onto the leg side this time. They will look for 2 in the end, though. They decide, oh no, they do come through for 2. Ben Stokes shakes his head. That impresses the crowd. Dawood Milan was the man flying in to try and keep them down to a single, but really quick between the wickets. And while it's only relatively expensive, there is a slight feeling that perhaps the break's coming off a little, particularly as far as Shreyas Iyer is concerned. He really is batting very nicely indeed now, as the score goes to 47 for 3. But we're nearly at the halfway point as Stokes is in again. That's punched out into the covers. Trotting in is Johnny Bairstow. They this time just look for the single and get the single. Ben Stokes 0 for 13 with that 1 ball left of his second over as we near that halfway mark in the Indian innings. There's some quite serious chatting going on the Indian bench, as they know that somehow they have to explode in this second half of the innings if they're to post England a really challenging total. Stokes at the back of his run now moves elegantly, and that's leg side, and it's flicked away straight to Johnny Bairstow. He can't believe what he's done, Shreyas Iyer. He was batting beautifully, and he's picked the worst ball of that over out to the cut deep, and Bairstow has taken a very decent catch. So at the halfway point, just what England needed, just what Stokes needed, and it's 48 for 4.
It's like he was caught in two minds. It was like he's trying to lift it if he was trying to go for a 6, and he's not quite got it as he would like, or he's hit it too well, but it's gone flat, and it's gone straight to Johnny Bairstow, who's in about 10-15 yards on the deep square boundary. And he'd be disappointed because himself and Shreyas Iyer were just sort of rebuilding. As I said, they need to try and take it deep and try and sort of between them analyse what would be a good score, or what, to give our bowlers a bit of a chance. But a good wicket, you take them all. 48 for 4, as Goffey was saying earlier when he was commentating. You take wickets, it slows that run rate down and puts them under pressure. But it's a fantastic start for England. 48 for 4 here on TalkSport 2.
And to repeat, we're at the halfway stage of the innings. It's incredible. 4.8 and over is the scoreline. I mean, we were being told par probably about 175, Well, India are going to have to go at some incredible rate to get anywhere near that. And I can see Adil Rashid has the ball back in his hands. Hardik Pandya is the new man at the crease. So 2 right-handers. Shreyas has 22 from 16. Hardik Pandya new to the crease. Matt Pryor is going to be joining us again very shortly. In fact, he's back with us now. Matt, what have you made of this?
Well, it's incredible, isn't it? Incredible start from England. Incredible 10 overs from England. I'm looking forward to seeing how England bat on this wicket. I think there's a bit more in it than we can tell, obviously looking at the screens. I think maybe it's slightly too paced. So what is a good score? That's what the Indian batsman Shreyas now and Hardik Pandya joining him will have to have that conversation. So right, we need to get a score on the board. There's no point keeping going trying to chase 180. We're not going to get that. So can we get to 150, 160 and give ourselves a chance and get back in this game?
Adil Rashid then is about to bowl his 3rd over. He's on his way, right arm over to Shreyas Iyer, who is trying to push to mid-on. Owen Morgan will intercept at short mid-wicket and there's no run. So Rashid has 1 for 7 so far. Remember, this Indian side have won... Well, they've lost only 1 of their last 12 T20 internationals. And that actually was their last outing against Australia in Sydney on December the 8th. But before that, they've been exceptionally good. Rashid, little bit of air, swung it to the leg side. Owen Morgan almost takes a brilliant catch. Shreyas Iyer swung that away to mid-wicket. Owen Morgan went full length in the air, Superman style, and can't have been far away from getting his hand on that. India's 50 finally comes up. They are 50 for 4, but they were very nearly 5 down as we see a replay, and it was not far away from Owen Morgan's right hand.
Those are the ones you see the ECB social media team posting in training where they're practicing with the tennis balls and tennis rackets, the big diving catches. That was in real life, very close to Owen Morgan.
Rashid is in, it's the googly, comes back in on Shreyas Iyer. He carves it down to Ben Stokes at short 3rd man, and there is no run. Well, I said at the outset I thought this was going to be a fascinating series, and it certainly is, but it's not the game I was expecting to see, I'll be honest. But it's been fascinating nonetheless. Plenty of dot balls, plenty of pressure being built up by the bowlers. Rashid goes in, bowls a leg break. It's played beautifully through the covers, and it's all the way for 4. Shreyas Iyer has timed another one to perfection. 54 for 4, and that is Shreyas Iyer's 4th boundary, and that might be the best of the lot.
Well, the thing I love about 2020 cricket is that you can have the shot that Rishabh Pant played off Jofra Archer, stepping across him and trying to reverse flick over the keeper's head. But still, there is a place for a shot like this. Shreyas Iyer, I mean, that is a top quality cricket shot. 1 stride forwards. Adil Rashid slightly over pitch, but a classic cover drive, timed it beautifully.
Rashid is in, it's another leg break. Shreyas Iyer is pushing down to long off for just a single. Yeah, as he goes past Owen Morgan in the covers, he holds his hand up as if to say, sweeper, that one's yours. But the boundary sweeper had no chance whatsoever because Shreyas had timed it so well. 55 for 4. Now then, Hardik Pandya, who has been around squads for the last few weeks but hasn't played. He's been having a problem because he couldn't bowl, and therefore as an all-rounder wasn't necessarily good enough as a batsman to get in solely. But he is in and about to face his first delivery. Slipped in place for Adil Rashid. Hardik Pandya is solidly pushing out this one to Owen Morgan at short cover, and there is no run. 11 overs gone here on TalkSport 2. England won the toss. They put India into bat, and it could not have gone better for Owen Morgan's side. India are 55 for 4 after 11 of their 20 overs.
Hardik Pandya, always looking at him because he's a tall enough guy. Well, he must be 6 feet. He stood next to Joss Butler, maybe just a bit taller than Joss, so 6'1", but he's so slight and lean. And yet, I mean, I've not seen a guy hit a ball as far as Hardik Pandya. I mean, he hits it miles. You kind of look at your Bestos and your Jason Roys and these guys with their guns and their pecs and everything else, and you sort of think, how does Hardik Pandya hit it so far? But my goodness, does he hit it. Be really interesting actually to see how he, is he going to go for his singles and build an innings, or is he just going to go from ball 1, back himself, back his eye? I mean, these boundaries are not far. I think the biggest boundary here is 65 metres. That is not big enough for a man like Hardik.
Yeah, the sides are sort of 57, 65 straight. You're around about 70 metres, maybe up to 75 with the angle, but yeah, not the biggest. Now Mark Wood is going to come back into the attack. He's got 1 for 9 so far. This will be his 3rd over, and he will be bowling to Shreyas Iyer. Right arm over the wicket, no slips in place anymore. Of course, this is a T20 game, and Shreyas is playing this off the back foot, pushes up to mid-off. Chris Jordan will field, throws at the non-striker's end, but the batsmen are home. Shreyas takes a single that takes him to 30. India 56 for 4. And just to pick up your point, Matt, about Hardik Pandya, his strike rate in 43 T20 internationals is 149.2, which is just some hitting. Best score of 42 not out. Be interested to find out how many times he's actually been, though, at the crease inside 11 overs before, because normally you would imagine he's coming in for 3 or 4 overs at the end and just trying to, well, get as many as you can in this situation, please. Got a bit of time now to actually, well, not build an innings as such, but he's certainly got time to have a look at a couple before he starts hitting them, because there's not that much to come. Wood goes in. Hardik Pandya is playing this from the crease, pushes back down the pitch. Mark Wood can't field off his own bowling, and Jofra Archer will do the fielding at mid on no run.
Well, you feel India needs something from these two, don't you? You feel like Shreyas now got his eye on 30 of the 22 balls. Excuse me. And Hardik Pandya joining him, not off the mark yet. But these two need to build a partnership if India are going to get to a score that they have any chance of defending.
Akshar Patel, Washington Sundal, Shardul Thakur, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Yuzvendra Chahal is what's still in the hutch for India. Mark Wood on his way, right arm over. It's turned down to short 3rd man, intercepted by Jason Roy coming across from point, and they will take a single. So Hardik is underway with a single from 3 balls. India 57 for 4 in the 12th here on TalkSport 2.
Well into the 90s again, speed-wise from Mark Wood. He's bowled fast all day so far. But it's all well and good bowling quick. As Chudes, I'm sure, will talk around Goffey. It's all well and good bowling quick, but you've still got to execute a plan. You've still got to be accurate, particularly in 2020 cricket. Your margin for error is so small. I'm very impressed with Mark Wood so far.
In he comes, and this is outside of off stump. Oh, Jason Roy's done really well at point. He's managed to get across as Shreyas Iyer plays it out on the offside. Jason Roy doesn't stop it cleanly, but does enough that he takes the pace off, and it will only be a single. Shreyas goes to 31, India 58 for 4. Shreyas Iyer is probably one of the less famous of this incredible batting lineup for India. It is 25th game. 250s, a high score of 62, but another of those players that gets on with it. Strike rate of just under 131 per 100 balls faced. He's got 31 from 23 next to his name at the moment. The cheers go up once again in Ahmedabad as Mark Wood is on his way to Hardik Pandya, who gets an absolute ripper. Quick, bouncy, and Hardik Pandya, in fairness, did pretty well not to get anything on that. He's through to Jos Buttler and there's no run.
That's like a test match delivery. Unbelievable pace from Mark Wood. Slabs it. I mean, it wasn't that short, but bounces, takes a bit of movement as well. Hardik Pandya drops his hands, looks down the wicket, looks at Mark Wood, says, well bowled.
Jos Buttler's taking that in front of his eyes, fingers pointing upwards. Fast bowlers around the world are nodding, going, yeah, like that. Mark Wood for the final time in the 12th over then is in, right arm over. Hardik Pandya is chopping this into the offside. Owen Morgan will cut that off at short extra cover, and there is no run. End of the over. 58 for 4 are India. You're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2 with the Times and the Sunday Times. Their cricket team, of course, includes Lizzie Ammon and the former England captains Mike Atherton and Sir Alistair Cook. Our team includes Matt Pryor.
Dare I mention the pitch and the toss again in this India-England series, but it looks like the wicket is doing something. It's maybe potentially a little bit two-faced, which will really favour England and the fact they've won the toss. If there is any due that's been spoken about, It tends to have a good effect for batting on the wicket. The ball will skid on. If there is any two-paced variance in the pitch, it usually gets rid of that, so the ball will come on. And of course, with the dew, it makes it harder to grip the ball for the bowlers. So England really are in the front seat here.
Two of the best teams in T20 cricket in the world. Two of the contenders for the World T20 later in the year. They've got 5 matches of this series. India at home were a pretty strong favourite in terms of the bookies with 888 Sport earlier. But England are dominating. Chris Jordan is going to bowl his second over, and it's Shreyas Iyer pushing to mid-off for a single. So India go to 59 for 4. Has to be said, this 12 overs and 1 ball have been played exclusively on England's terms, and that is quite something to say, coming to India against this Indian side in their own conditions. Matt Pryor, we probably wouldn't have said that many times down the years.
No, it's been outstanding from England, but this is a crucial 8 overs because they've got themselves, England, in such a strong position. They can almost win the game in this next 8 overs, but at the same time they can also let India back in.
Jordan in. Hardik Pandya drives hard into the offside and will take a single out to the sweeper David Malan. 60 for 5.
What I mean by that is India from this position, if England bowl well or half decently, India shouldn't really get more than 120, 130 at a push. But I don't think England will want to be chasing anywhere near. I don't think they want to be chasing 130, 140. You allow India to get that score, you get them back in the game. England need to close this out. They need to have a very, very controlled last 8 overs or 7.5 overs to really see it through.
60 for 4 then India. Jordan goes in. That's a run in off the seam a little bit towards Shreyas Iyer's hands. He's got it down to Adil Rashid at third man for a single. 61 for 4. So I guess the message then, if you're Owen Morgan, Matt, is right, don't settle for this. Don't say, all right, well, we'll take 4 or 5 singles and over. We go hard still.
Absolutely. And as Darren Gough said earlier, taking wickets is the best way to keep control of the run rate. So keep attacking, keep hitting your areas hard. If England are looking at the scoreboard and thinking, okay, well, this is a great start, fantastic position, even if they go at 10 and over, we're still in the game. That's not the attitude, and I know that Owen Morgan will not let that creep into this England team at all.
Jordan is on the way. It's a ball that's roundabout off stump. Hardik Pandya is just pushing in behind this one, out onto the offside. Owen Morgan will field. Again, there is a single. That's not a case of England settling in on that one. It was just a well-played delivery, and it's nothing that England can do about it. 1 more to the total. It's 8 o'clock in the evening in Ahmedabad. As the game was starting, the sun was disappearing. It's completely under lights. The dew will be starting, such as it is. And the ground is pretty well full. Lots of people have come in to watch this game. We're seeing India on the wrong end of it. Chris Jordan goes in. That's another quick ball. And it bounces through again to Jos Buttler. Shreyas Iyer gives that one the kitchen sink. Can't catch up with it. Through to the keeper. No run. 62 for 4 it remains.
Great delivery again from Jordan, but I don't think England want to be chasing too many. I mean, this is taken off. He's running hard. Chris Jordan put the ball in. I don't think it was a genuine effort at a bouncer. But it's flown through to Butler's jumping up to take it above his head.
In comes Jordan once again. Right arm over again. That's a quick ball running in on the hands of the batsman. Guided down to third man. Rashid will field and will restrict it for a single. Shreyas Iyer therefore gets another one to the total. 63 for 4 after 13 overs. Are India here on TalkSport 2. Their run rate currently 4.85. Shreyas Iyer has 34 from 27 balls faced. Hardik Pandya has 3 from 7.
Yeah, fantastic. All England so far this evening. India 63 for 4 after 13 overs. You wouldn't have believed it. Good toss to win. Owen Morgan won the toss. They left it to field first. I think the prospects of dew would have had a part to play in that decision. But you need a fast start, and England certainly had that. I think it shocked all of us opening the bowling with Adil Rashid. Did a fantastic job.
And it's Mark Wood who has ball in hand. India and England have met 6 times in India. 3 wins for India, 3 wins for England. England against India, including neutral venues away from home, is slightly more one-sided as Mark Wood starts a new one, and it's again a quick ball outside of off stump. Shreyas Iyer is trying to guide this one up and over third man, really can't get anything on it, and it's through to Jos Buttler, and there is no run. Including the neutral venues, 12 matches played, India have won 5, England have won 7, so England have a good record. Mark Wood in his final over of his 4-over stint. 4 overs maximum for any bowler if you are new to T20 cricket, or I'm not sure, so it's minimum of 5 bowlers to be used during the 20 overs, and Mark Wood is on his way. It's edged down to third man. It was one of those that would have been straight in a test match to second slip, but we don't have slips at this stage of a T20, and Sam Curran can't get round to cut that one off, and Shreyas Iyer goes to 38 from 29 balls faced. India 67 for 4.
Yeah, nothing you can do about this. Mark Wood bowling another fast delivery, going a little bit fuller this time, just outside, probably middle and off really. Shreyas Iyer, we're just watching a replay, and that's also just pop. I mean, I wouldn't say it's gone through the top, but it's certainly bounced more than you'd expect from that length. Catches the shoulder of the bat as Iyer tries to work into the leg side, and beats the third diving Sam Curran at third man.
Just got a shot of Owen Morgan, who's just sort of puffed out his cheeks at that one. This one again is down to third man from Shreyas Iyer. It's been guided there on this occasion though, far more deliberately. He takes a single, takes him to 39, India 68 for 4. And obviously Mark Wood and Owen Morgan just shared a couple of thoughts after that edge the previous delivery, and Morgan sort of as if to say, well bowled mate, but I can't have fielders everywhere. Now there's a bit of a discussion actually with Mark Wood as Owen Morgan and Chris Jordan get together to just have a little conflab, I presume, about it, and indeed they are going to put in the slip. Hey, why not? Got the opposition 68 for 4 in the 14th in a T20 game. Why not indeed? You've got a guy bowling flames. Now the other option that Mark Wood wants, he was bowling earlier with Owen Morgan under the helmet at short leg, and he did ask the question, can I have another one? Can we do it again? But Morgan said not this time. So Wood goes in, and that goes through and beats the inside edge, I think, of Hardik Pandya, trying to guide that down to third man, and he's got nothing on that. 68 for 4 it remains. Did that one keep a little bit low on that occasion?
I think it did. It certainly shot through, didn't it? Beat the under edge of Hardik Pandya. Yeah, I think this is just a little bit too paced, this wicket.
So, Mark Wood, 1 for 17. He's got 2 balls left of his evening's bowling, and that one hits the middle of Hardik Pandya's bat. It's pushed out into the offside. Chris Jordan will go after it from mid-off, but it will go all the way out to the sweeper on the boundary, and a couple will be taken to take Hardik to 5. India 70 for 4. After 6 overs at the end of the power play, they were 22 for 3. After 10 overs at the halfway stage, 48 for 4. The 50 only coming up 10 overs and 2 balls when they were 50 for 4. Very un-T20 cricket numbers, but captivating stuff nonetheless. Final ball then for Mark Wood this evening. He's going to bowl it to Hardik Pandya, in past the umpire, and bowls, and Hardik Pandya has opened the blade. Ben Stokes is the man stationed at the wide slip. He can't dive away to his right hand side to stop it, but Sam Curran down at third man will, and that is the end of the over. 14 gone here on TalkSport 2, 71 for 4, and Goffey's joined us at this point as well. Goffey, what have you made of this? I mean, this is stuff of dreams from England, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's not what you normally see, is it, around the world these days in T20 cricket? It's normally a festival of runs, but I think what we've seen here is some aggressive bowling from England. India have found it difficult to get after them because it is a little bit too paced, the pitch. I think realistically you'd have reassessed it from the start. It looked like it was going to be an absolute belter. But I think now, realistically, from about 5-6 overs in, if they could get anywhere near 125, it would have been a decent score, something that they can at least have a go at. But England have just got to keep going at this Indian side, because they do bat all the way down. They've got some terrific talent, but England have got terrific bowling attack here. They've got plenty of options, especially in the pace department, with Sam Curran, Stokes, Jordan. Woods bowled his 4, bowled really, really well. 4 overs, 1 for 20. And they've got Archer, who's still got 2 overs to bowl yet.
So Matt Pryor, how do India approach this? There are 36 balls left of this innings. Someone's got to go. We'll get Matt's thoughts after this, because Ben Stokes is on the way to bowl to Hardik Pandya. It's a little cutter that's hit to Owen Morgan at short extra cover, and there's no run.
Yeah, someone's got to go, but I think because India ultimately, wickets in hand, allows you to go have a longer spell at the back end of the innings. So where you can throw caution to the wind from maybe 6 overs out. Now, because India are 4 down, they're going to have to prolong the time where they, sit in, take singles, etc. The other thing is they'll have to work out, okay, what score gets us back into the game here? What can we give ourselves a chance?
Stokes in. Hardik Pandya just dropping it into the offside, down to third man, and will take a single. He will go to 7, 72 for 4.
So I expect they're looking at, okay, 120 keeps us in the game. How do we get to 120? Okay, we've got it back. Let's go at 5 or 6 and over for the next couple of overs, and then we've got 3 at the end where we go absolutely crazy and hope to get, your sort of 8, 10, 12 and over, and see if we can get a 120, 125 score on the board, which gives us a chance.
72 for 4. Owen Morgan just getting himself into position, having had a chat with Ben Stokes, and the Durham man is in. Right arm over, it's a slower ball. It's driven into the offside, driven up to Jofra Archer at mid-off. Single will be taken. Little bit of a fumble from Archer, but in truth, nothing he could do to stop the single being taken. Shreyas goes to 40 from 31 balls, 73 for 4.
They just can't get on top, India, can they? Because it's relentless from England. So really well, they're using the conditions to their advantage. Bowling good lengths, making it difficult for India to hit through the ball with not that certainty, and now the ball's going to come through to him at the pace it's going to reach them, and the bounce.
Stokes in, so wide ball outside off some. Hardik Pandya's got underneath this one and launched it over long off for 6. There was just a little bit of room for Hardik Pandya to get up and underneath that one, and he did. It pings off the middle of the bat. It's 79 for 4.
He hits it miles, this bloke. Hardik Pandya, Ben Stokes, a little leg cutter, I think it was, a little bit full, hardly any feet. Hardik Pandya almost like a golf shot, probably a bit better than that, to be honest, and just throws his hands through the ball, picks up length, and when he gets it, it really stays here. I mean, that's 20 rows back. Fantastic shot from Hardik Pandya.
Statue of Liberty moves her feet more than Hardik Pandya did then. Stokes in, short ball. Hardik Pandya's played a ramp shot as he's falling over onto his back, and he's got it down to third man for 4. Incredible. It came onto him, bounced up, he leant backwards, put the blade of the bat there to just caress it off, down on the offside. He ended up flat on his back in his batting crease, and he's got 6 and 4 in consecutive balls.
Well, there's the modern day cricketer right there, even after he played that shot, which is totally opposite to the one he's played the ball before. Just let the ball nip back towards his head, just fell away, just let the ball on bat and let it run away to the third man boundary for 4, and followed it up with a wink to Ben Stokes. There you go, mate.
What's he got this ball then? Final one of the over. Respect. Plays it back down the pitch. It's straight into Ben Stokes' hands. So that is 15 overs gone. 83 for 4 are India. England won the toss earlier. They put India into bat. Shikhar Dhawan, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant all dismissed so far. 5 overs to go. And I'll tell you what, let's have some fun, coffee, and give you some more thoughts. And I'm going to make way for Guy Swindles to take you through to the latter stages.
Well, the amazing thing when you go dissect this innings is, but they had an over where it went 6-4, and Rishabh Pant played 2 ridiculous shots, and we've just seen it now from Pandya where they've gone 6-4 again. You take those 2 overs out and we'd be looking at a score around 50.
Yeah, you take those 4 balls out and it's 63 for 4.
There you go. Ridiculous. It's cricket at its best.
But that shot we've just seen, I thought he was actually trying to get out the way until I watched the replay. It was genius.
You've got to score off every single ball in T20, and that just showed the skills these guys have got these days. They're practicing every single day and trying to do something, get bat on ball every single. There would have been a time yesteryear where you just swayed out the way and left it, but now you're always looking to get some bat on it.
Well, they're just coming after you. You're both bowlers. The guys are going to chase you now. What do you do?
Well, you're talking to one of the best in Darren Gough for me in my time, death bowler. I always said to Goughy as well, it baffled me why he didn't bowl it more in Test cricket. As soon as he saw the lower order, Goughy went for Yorkers. I was like, why don't you do that to the top order?
As Jofra Archer comes in, back into the attack, it's flicked away very nicely. It's going to beat the field and Malan can't get there. It's 4 runs and suddenly India just beginning to crank it up a little. They have to. It's 87 for 4 in the 16th, but 4 more to Shreyas.
Well, Shreyas there, that's a proper cricket shot there. He comes back into the attack. Jofra Archer just flipped onto middle and leg. Great balance at the crease. Just used the pace of the ball, just flicked it through mid-wicket and away again on these quick outfields. It runs away for 4, 87 for 4.
Archer in again, and this is now played out into the offside. It might be the same result. Fielder can't get there, it's 4 more. What a shot, 2 proper cricket shots, as Goughy was saying too. These aren't the ramps, they aren't the clever stuff. This is really good cricket shots, and Shreyas moves to 48. 2 4s in succession of Jofra Archer.
I was going to say, in these low-scoring games, there's always, in 2020, there's always a time where it can switch. This could be the over. This could be the over. It could have been the Ben Stokes over, where it just takes it India's way a little bit with this partnership. There's always, even where England have been dominant so far, there's always an over or 2 where it can switch.
Well, that's 18 off the last 4 balls as Archer comes in again. There'll only be a single this time, if that. No. Lovely bit of fielding. The throw comes in. We were actually going to go and check a possible run out. I'm pretty certain that Shreyas was back in his crease, but they're just going to have a little look in case. There's a decent piece of fielding.
Can I have side on angle, please?
Virendra Sharma, the 3rd umpire. We'll have a look at this.
Okay, bat is well inside the crease. I'm ready with my decision.
I think you can hear from the crowd that the batsman, having seen it on the big screen at the ground, that Shreyas has survived. And there goes the not out. I'm not sure anybody thought he was out.
No, I mean, when you look at the context of this game, Shreyas here, 48 off just 34 deliveries. Fantastic little knock, and it's been proper cricket shots. Down the ground, off his legs, through the covers, except for that one ramp shot, which he just leapt.
Archer in again, played out into the covers. There'll just be the single. He'll move to 49 as Mark Wood comes round from 3rd man. Throws it in over the stumps. Jos Buttler takes it. Shreyas will have to wait for his half century. Hardik will take the strike.
Even though he's not got a lot of experience in international cricket, Goughy, he's played a lot of 2020, and I think he's captain of his franchise in the IPL, so he knows pressure situations. He knows the importance of him saying, right, I need to back through. I need to get us up to a challenging total to give our bowlers a chance.
Hardik Pandya, off those 2 remarkable shots against Ben Stokes, is now up against Jofra Archer. Archer steaming in, right arm over. Oh, he beats him outside off stump. He tried to play an indeterminate dab shot outside off stump, missed it, luckily for him, through to the keeper, dot ball.
Yeah, good delivery there. It's like a test match, that delivery. Back of a length, just a little bit of movement towards the slip cordon, but there's no slips in place, obviously, in T20 cricket. A great delivery from Jofra. Good pace as well. 92 for 40 on TalkSport 2.
So Jofra Archer gone for 9 so far in this over, but coming back from 2 4s in the first 2 deliveries. In again, and that's quick. They think about the single, but Archer's off to his left to pick the ball up. And that's a really good comeback by Archer. You've seen your first 2 balls be hit for 4, and then just 1 run from the remaining 4 deliveries. And the score at the end of the 16th over, India 92 for 4. Shreyas, who will be on strike, 49 from 35. Held this innings together, more than half the runs. Hardik Pandya 17 from 17.
Yeah, good bowling from Archer there, as you say, coming out of that over really well, going for 8 with the first 2 and then end up going for 9. So that's fantastic bowling for him. And he just cranked it up a little bit. And as Goffey mentioned in his commentary early on, Archer and Wood, they have a nice little rivalry with when they with the speed gun. Who's bowled the quickest ball today? Well, Mark Wood's been the man so far. 152 clicks. That's some serious heat.
Jordan's, we've still got 1 over left from Jofra Archer to see if he can take the honours on the fastest ball of the day. But at the moment, Mark Wood clear in that particular position, and it looks as if Chris Jordan will come on now for Ben Stokes. Probably the nearest thing. He is the death bowler, so makes sense for him to come back. 4 overs remaining.
To be fair though, I would be just bowling that back of a length, a little bit wide of the crease, slanting into the right-hander. That's proved the hardest to hit.
As Jordan comes in, it's full and it's driven out into the covers. It will be fielded and they'll trot through for a single, but Shreyas goes to 50 from 36 deliveries. That's his 3rd international T20 half-century. And when you consider the position when he came in and the position of the team, certainly up there with one of his best, of just 36 balls, and out of a total of 93 for 4, he's got 50 of them.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of this. Shirsai, he's a fantastic player, good talent. India like him, and obviously the more he plays, the more experience he's going to get.
Not too much by the way of celebration as Jordan comes in again and just short of a length, punched away to mid-on. There'll only be a single as Ben Stokes comes in. Nicely bowled again from Chris Jordan.
I mean, that's the length for me, that back of a length where you get that natural variation off the wicket. It is a little bit too paced. It's proving harder to hit. I think once you start throwing the ball up to any of these two batsmen or trying to bowl the bouncer, they've both got variation in their play to hit it 360 degrees around this stadium. So if I were the bowlers at this stage, until they do it for a big boundary, I'd be looking to hit that back of the length.
Jordan in again, right arm over, nice back of the length delivery again. It's as if Darren Gough was the England bowling coach.
Well, I got the microphone through to him, you know what I mean?
It's like he knows what he's talking about, isn't it? But sometimes Goffey's dead right, because sometimes as a bowler you try and get a little bit too funky. Sometimes you've got to work with what you got. And the wicket, obviously, as Matt said in commentary, is a little bit too pace. You don't have to try too much. As Goffey said, hit back of the length hard, the ball will do the rest.
And the pitch with its natural variation. Sometimes you panic, you go too early, you start bowling Yorkers, you don't get it quite right, and it ends up an half volley, and you get it out of the ground. Keep hitting that back of a length.
Jordan doing exactly that. 3 balls, 3 singles, back of a length again. That one's flayed into the covers, but there is a fielder out there, and it will just be another single as Milan throws the ball back in.
The problem with that one, it was the perfect length, but he gave it width. No matter what sort of game you're playing in, if you're a fast bowler or any sort of bowler, you can't give the batsman any width to throw their hands through the ball. So the length was perfect, but he just bowled with too much width that last delivery.
Well, see what Chris Jordan can do with the final 2 deliveries as the TV company run through the key shots in that 50. It's a beautiful delivery from Jordan. It cuts the batsman in 2. Gets between bat and body, and that's for a man, Shreyas Iyer, who was he's got his eye in, and that was a beauty.
Yeah, it looks like a cutter, even though it's gone down at 138 clicks. Just didn't come on as I suppose he expected, and that's what Goffey's been talking about. It's got its own variation if you hit back of a length.
Interesting speed variations as well from Jordan at the moment. That ball considerably slower than the one previously, as now he comes in again. Steps away and then flays it brilliantly. Oh, it's gone all the way for 6. What a shot! What a shot from Shreyas Iyer. He guessed what was coming from Jordan. It was that little bit shorter. The warning Darren Gough gave him, don't go too short, don't go too wide. He did, and he was spotted. He stepped back, the batsman, and slapped it over cover. Brilliant shot.
Yeah, Chris Joyce is normally so good at this and watching the opposition batsman, but he just lacked his concentration, that delivery. He bowled it back of a length. The batsman had backed away to give himself plenty of room to hit towards that shorter boundary. I think it's 60 odd metres that boundary where he's pitching to a square point, and he just catches it with the middle of the bat, and it flies away. A big boundary to finish the over. India 102 for 4 off 17 overs here on TalkSport 2.
You're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2 with the Times and the Sunday Times. Try it for free for 1 month at thetimes.co.uk/cricket offer. Subscription auto renews unless cancelled. Terms and conditions apply. So the first ball is cut away.
There's 17 balls left, Goffey. What are you going to be happy? We're going to be happy with what, 30 odd? 17 balls.
125, 130. I think that's the target they would have had in mind after the start that England have had with the ball.
So Jofra Archer is in again, right arm over, and that standard deliver, and he's delivered it straight to Jordan at mid-off. What a good catch. He made a difficult catch look easy, but Hardik Pandya, well, he's almost been sucker punched into that, and he's gone for 19 from 21 deliveries and a second wicket from Jofra Archer.
Anytime the ball goes in the air near Chris Jordan, go back. He's not dropping anything. He's absolutely phenomenal in the field. He's caught some absolute blinders in his career, be it at Sussex, Surrey and with England. And Hardik Pandya, as you said, Archer just rolled his fingers over that slight of a cutter, slightly wide. Pandya on the back foot, tried to smash it over the top, didn't quite get the elevation, went down to Chris Jordan with his left boot. He said it sort of swerved. He was a little bit surprised, but anything in the air near him, he's catching it.
Oh yeah, there was a little bit of swing, T. Bit of late swing as it goes towards the hands of Chris Jordan, but as we've seen over the years, this is why he's in this T20 side. He's got a bit of everything, hasn't he? He can bat, he can bowl, we've seen that especially at the death, and he's also a fantastic athlete in the field. But that's a big wicket as well, Hardik Pandya, 19 of 21 deliveries, but we've seen so many times this kid in all forms of the game. If he's there at the end, anything's possible. He's got that helicopter shot that Dhoni made famous, but it's a wicket, it's another one. It can just slightly slow down this run rate that India have just upped in the last few overs. So it's 102 for 5.
Yeah, that was a much better period. 50 partnership came up as well between those two, but the man you want to bring back to break partnerships has done exactly that, Jofra Archer, and promoted up the order somewhat. Shardul Thakur has come out to join Shreyas Iyer. Shreyas 57 not out of a total now of 102 for 5. Archer in again, and immediately on the attack, and it's a hat-trick. He'll be on now because Shardul has holed out. Very first ball, he took on the short delivery, he's picked out the man at deep mid-wicket. Archer's 2 for 2, India 102 for 6.
Well, that's good bowling actually from Jofra Archer when a new batsman comes to the crease. That first delivery doesn't have any idea what the pace of the wicket's going to be like. He's banged it into him. There's a man out there waiting for it. He's not quite caught it. He's bowling quite quickly, Jofra Archer, and he's hit the bottom of the bat. He's flown down to backward square leg, and it's 2 in 2 for Jofra Archer. He's on a hat-trick, 102 for 6, as Shardul Thakur goes for zilch.
It was Milan with the catch in the deep, again making England have fielded very well today. Nothing has gone down. Sorry, I don't mean to deflect from Goffey's wonderful use of the English language. But it will be 102 for 6, and I guess we will have a few moments now as we wait for the hat-trick delivery. You've been here a few times, Goffey, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, in a T20, the first one at the Rose Bowl.
I thought so.
I went for the bouncer though.
I
didn't go for the wicket. I went to I can't really say it on air. I can, of course I can. I went to hit him in the chest.
So Archer on a hat-trick into Washington. Sundar tries to dab at it and very nearly gave a wicket away. As it is, it was just a little too short, and it has been given for the first wide of the innings. That's how well England have bowled and what discipline they've shown. That is the first wide we have seen, and it was only just.
Interesting, you're going for your hat-trick ball. You're bowling a bumper. I mean, I'm going to hit the stumps. That's what I'm trying to do. Unless I've not been in that situation.
As Archer is in again. This time he does pitch the ball up, and that is pushed away, not entirely convincingly, but they trot through for a single, and the score goes on to 104 for 6.
I was on one once against Yorkshire and at Scarborough, and I bowled a no ball.
Well, I was just going to say, I bet he bowled a no ball. But I think at this stage of the game, going for the short ball, when you know the batsmen are going to be looking to get some bat on ball every single time rather than leave it, it's not a bad option to bowl a short ball to a new batsman, especially.
Well, it had worked the ball before, so you can see why. As it is, Archer again with that venomous little run-up. Oh, and he draws the false shot from Shreyas Iyer. I think he took the pace off a bit. I think he has a little bit of a word to the batsman there as well, as it goes through for a dot ball, and how England could do with as many of those as possible at the moment. Kitchen sink and most of the other kitchen implements was thrown at that, but to no avail. 104 for 6.
Yeah, well bowled there from Jofra Archer. Just a leg cutter, wasn't it, Lyric's roll out of his fingers over the ball. We've seen Stuart Broad bowl that really well over the years, and Jimmy Anderson.
Archer, right arm over, in bowls. That's pitched up and beautifully driven. It will only be a single, but that was a thing of beauty, that on drive from Shreyas Iyer, but it will only be worth 1. He moves to 58 and the score 105 for 6 after 18 overs. So another very good over as far as England are concerned, just 3 runs from it. And India with their work cut out. I was listening to some of the guys talking from the ground, and they were reckoning if you could get 175 you'd win this match.
well 125 yes. I think if they get 125 they'll be over the moon at this moment in time. That's the score I've thought for a while now.
I'll tell you as well, that sort of gives me a little bit of confidence. If Bumrah and Shami were playing, I'd be a little bit more nervous, but obviously with their bowling lineup, it looks like they've gone spin heavy, so it's going to be interesting to see how we take it down. But if Shami and Bumrah are playing, I think it's a different proposition altogether.
Jofra Archer's figures: 4 overs, 3 for 23. He really is something else in this form of the game. We saw him in the IPL as well.
Well, he's settled, isn't he? He's settled, he's happy, he's proven it around the world. But he's a fantastic T20 cricketer. I think the uncertainty around his test plays is because he's not yet done it away from home. He's done it on home soil in England, and he's done it really, really well. A terrific talent, but he's yet to do it when he's travelled.
Sam Curran thrown into the mix in the 19th over, and immediately they look to drive him. But Shreyas Iyer can't beat the fielder at mid-off, and it will be a dot ball, no run, 105 for 6, the score remains.
Yeah, Sam, here's a ball, second over, the 19th over, they're coming after you, good luck, son. But he loves it, the Curran boys here, they don't back down from anything.
Absolutely, both of them, terrific cricketers, both of them, Tom and Sam.
But it's Sam who got the nod today, left arm round the wicket, and that is played out to roughly the mid-wicket area, and they run very well indeed and turn 1 into 2. Johnny Bairstow does not look happy with the cheek of the batsman
do you know
to go for
guys,
a second.
That used to bother me more than anything. When there used to be a miss it by the batsman and they get 2. And it happens so many times in one-day cricket, in T20 cricket now, in 50-over cricket, when you have a miss it to add the boundary and they run 2 to it. It's so frustrating.
Because you can't put fielders where the miss hits are going, can you? You're putting them where they should go. The shots should go. So Shreyas moves to 60 as Curran comes in again. Oh, and that's better. He's got hold of that. He's middled it, and he's bisected the 2 fielders. He swiveled, he struck, he smashed it for 4. Shreyas moves on to 64, 111 for 6.
Fantastic shot. As you said, he's a talented young man. He's been in these situations before in IPL many times. And he's just dragged that down to Sam, sort of a cutter, and he's planted that well in front. The sort of mid-wicket, wide mid-wicket there, fantastic shot, and he's just given India a little bit of a chance here with this innings.
Curran in again, and it's smashed away by Shreyas Iyer, who with that last shot moved to his highest ever score in international T20s. Previously his highest score was 62. He's now moved on to 65, and I thought he'd scored a single off that last run, but the last ball, but he has. He moves on to 65, and the score 112 for 6. Scoreboard a little slow there.
Fantastic innings, from Shreyas, because when you consider the situation he come into and the way the pitch is played, it's to get to 65 off just 45 deliveries when the team score is 112 for 6 off 18.4 overs. It just goes to show how well he's actually played.
He really has played well, considerably north of 50% of his team's runs now, and without him they would have been in deep, deep trouble. It really is a very grown-up innings in a very difficult position. England will still be delighted with just 8 balls to go that it's 112 for 6 as we get ever closer to Darren Goff's predicted 125. But at the moment, Sam Curran bowling very nicely. In again to the left arm. This time he does pitch the ball up, looks for the Yorker. In fact, it ended up being a full toss, but a bit of swing and nothing that Shreyas could do about it, just the single. Sundar, sorry. 113 for 6. Washington Sundar, who impressed in the Test series recently. Interesting that he is one of the all formats players for India. As we look at the bowling lengths on the TV screen for the bowlers so far in this match, the England seamers, and the length ball has been the most popular, just back of possibly.
Well, they're still missing Jadeja, let's not forget as well, India, when he comes back into it. That's one of the reasons probably Washington Sundar's playing.
As again, Sam Curran, left arm round. This again is punished. Will it bisect the fielders this time? No, it doesn't. Straight to Bairstow. Will only be a single. Superb again from Shreyas. Those 66 from 46 deliveries.
Well, what problems they've got though, haven't they? If you look in the spin department with Akhtar doing so well in that series, when they come over to England, obviously, Ravi Ashwin will play. And then, he does love Jadeja. And he,
Ashwin used to sit on the bench. Jadeja, when they went away from India, Jadeja was the first choice spinner. But now they've got a situation where they've got Ashwin, arguably the best spinner in the world. Yeah. They've got Jadeja, who's just one unreal cricketer. And now they've got Axar Patel, who's come onto the scene and got 4 fifers in international cricket already.
Yeah. We would love that headache, wouldn't we? Especially in our spin department.
We'll do well to pick one.
Oh, come on, Jack Leach. We do. Anyway.
Moeen Ali. See, we're arguing already. One spinner in the side, it's got to be Moeen Ali.
Well, we wait and see what the summer will bring. But while we're here in India, there is 1 over to go of the Indian innings. England, remember, won the toss, put India in, and with just 6 balls to go, it's 114 for 6. Something of a recovery, considering at one stage they were 20 for 3. But that's been down entirely to Shreyas, who is 66 not out. Washington Sundar has come out to join him, 2 not out, but playing very much second fiddle. Now, it will be Chris Jordan who will bowl the final over. His first 3 overs have gone for just 17. Shreyas Iyer will face the first ball. And it's in and it's hit. But I think there is a fielder there. There is. And it will be just the single. Again, he middled it. Again, it was played nicely. But Jason Roy was a deep fine leg, no run. 1 run.
Just going back to spin quickly. Bats and I, before we came on here, were talking about Gaz Bats surely can't be going on for another year. I reckon he feels at 43 he might have another chance seeing what happened this winter.
Well, in county cricket, having to watch England bat this winter, he's probably thinking, yeah, I've got another 5 years left.
That would be a story.
Well, how old was Sean Udall when he played out in India? He must have been late 30s, surely.
Is it 36?
I think he played county cricket when he was in his 40s, wasn't he, Sean Udall?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And Bats, is he in his 40s yet?
He's my age. He's 43, bigger.
Are you 43 too?
I am, but you not see the grey hair fella.
Chris Jordan, who doesn't have grey hair, right arm round, slower delivery. But it did wobble down the leg side, one of those unlucky wides. You've got to kind of give it if you're the umpire, but the bowler knows he's beaten the batsman on that occasion.
Yeah, no need to bowl that, really. I think he's bowled really, really well. Chris Jordan, I think he's mixed his lengths up well, but that back of a length, he's still pretty new to the crease, Washington Sundar. He's not struck a good ball yet. He keeps mistiming it, squirting it out to cover and mid-on, and just keep bowling that back of a length to him. Let him hit you first. No need to change.
Listen to Darren Gough, and that's pitched up and dug out, and it goes out to mid-on, and they'll just trot through for a single. So 3 runs so far off this final over. There are 4 balls left, 117 for 6.
We almost changed for change's sake a lot of it. I've watched some of the bowlers. Tim Bresnan was a fantastic Yorker bowler, in his early years. And then suddenly he started playing for England and thought he had to bowl 6 different deliveries in an over. And he lost that skill of bowling the perfect Yorker as he went on. And if he could go back and play it again, and you asked him.
In comes Jordan, and that's a slower, bouncier delivery. Has the catch been taken? I think it has. It's a brilliant piece of fielding by Milan. And it is a wicket. Milan was so cool about it, catching it on the boundary. You weren't even sure he'd done it. We're still not sure he's done it. Yeah, no, he's walking off now.
Yeah, that's fantastic cricket actually from David Milan. Shreyas stepped inside, he picked the right delivery, he helped it on its way, he thought he'd got hold of it, but I think it was a slower ball from Jordan, and Milan diving forward to his right. Fantastic catch, and Jordan's absolutely delighted, appreciated by his captain Owen Morgan. And it's another big wicket, because he could have easily finished with a few maximums, but 117 for 7 now as Shreyas Iyer goes for 67 of just 48 deliveries live here on TalkSport 2.
Fantastic knock, as you were saying, Goffey, but England, that's 2 less balls almost you have to worry about at the death here. And a brilliant catch by Milan. And I have to say, the coolest reaction to taking a brilliant catch I've seen in a very long time. It was if he just stopped the ball trotting out for a single.
Trust me, it's always about making it look cool, but it's never cool when there's 60-odd thousand people, supporters in that ground, and the ball goes up. It's the worst feeling in the world, because all you can think when he's coming to you, technique, watch the ball, but what do I do if I drop it? Oh, please don't drop it. Oh, thank you, that'll do.
Superb. And that's in front of, I'll tell you in a second, after Chris Jordan, coming in now round the wicket. Again, slightly slower, slightly shorter. It's pulled away into the deep. It'll only be, they do in the end come back for a 2. Neither of them were convinced they were going to do it, but in the end they did so. But yes, he was took that catch in front of 67,200 people, and that is just 50% of what this stadium can take. So 134,000 when it's full.
It's good quick math there, guy. Good lad.
Yeah, never do maths live. Right, it's slashed again, and this has gone safe. Just threw everything at it then, Aksar, and he got away with it. Big thick edge flew over, backward point for 4. Slightly disgruntled looks on the England fielders as the score goes to 123 for 7 with 1 ball remaining.
Again, one of the things when you're bowling at the end, I talked earlier about if you can go for 6, you've bowled an absolute worldie in that last over now, but even if you can go for 8 to 10 now, it's still a good over to finish the innings with the scores that people are racking up in T20 cricket, whether it be domestically or whether it be international. But obviously a little bit of luck there for Aksar Patel. A little bit late on it, and I think being late on it
he didn't know where that was going, did he?
Get enough bat on it for it to go over short third man for 4.
He'll tell everyone he played it late and the tee later. As it is, in comes Jordan. The final ball, it's a full delivery. It's well stopped down to low to his right by Jofra Archer. They'll trot through for a single. And I can't remember what score Darren Gough said that India would get. I think it was 125, was it, Goughy?
Well, no, so they need 125 to win. So
124 for 7.
Our one off. But yeah, listen, well bowled England. I think they were excellent in the field. We've been saying all along, I think Owen surprised us all, didn't he, by opening the bowling with Adil Rashid. I'd never seen him do it, actually. I can't remember him doing it, but he did it so well, taking the big wicket of Virat Kohli when he came in 1 down. But all round, I think it's been an excellent performance from England. I thought The bowling of Mark Wood was excellent. Yes, he's been fresh. He's not really bowled since Sri Lanka, so pretty fresh going into the game. And obviously, as usual, Jofra Archer in T20 cricket, absolutely excellent. Great performance from England.
Now, you have to also pay a bit of credit, I think, to the tactics, the way that we started with. We've gone through all the seam bowlers, how brilliantly they bowled, but Adil Rashid opened the bowling, and in fact, almost laid down the here you go, off you go, chaps. No runs at all, well, 1 or 2 off his first over, and England were up and running.
Yeah, he went for 2 in that first over, and Matt were talking, wasn't he, at the start, but that first over is vital. I remember playing against Matt. I opened the bowling for Essex. He was playing for Sussex opening the batting, and you're trying to get off to an absolute strong start. The fast bowlers at the end of his mark or spinner thinking, I've got to get this first ball in the right areas. The batsman's just saying, just give me over pitch, just give me a little bit of width outside off stump, and I'll smack it away for 4, and the momentum is with you after that. But he bowled really, really well, Adil Rashid.
Tews, final thought from you. Anyone particularly stand out, or was that a team effort by England?
Well, Mark Wood for me, absolutely fantastic. As you said, he's been chomping at the bit just to get an opportunity, and bowling extremely quick, 94 miles an hour, good pace, unsettling the batsman. As I said, I don't care who you are, be it Ricky Ponting, all these great players. If someone's bowling at 90 plus miles an hour and it's coming at your nose hole, no one fancies it. And when he wrapped Kohli on the hands and he bowled that bouncer to Shikhar Dhawan, the feet do funny things, and as you said, it went to their downfall. So England, Ian Morgan, be very happy with his bowlers there. As you said, he's got many options. As you say, Sam Curran didn't even bowl out, Ben Stokes didn't even bowl out, so he's got many options. And you can even think of the personnel that are not playing, Tom Curran, and so are not even playing at the minute. So fantastic first half of the game. Let's see what they do in the second half.
Archer in, right arm over, the little bit of whip, it's dragged on by KL Rahul. Archer has the first wicket in the series. The leg spinner is in, Kohli's given himself some room, but he's hit it straight to mid-off, and Virat Kohli can't believe it.
Kohli, another duck.
Archer turns, sets on his way for the 5th ball
Of the over, it's a reverse by Rishabh Pant of Jofra Archer.
That is absolutely ridiculous. There's got to be easier ways to hit a 6, surely.
Mark Wood around the wicket to Shikhar Dhawan.
And that bowled him!
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic start.
Stokes at the back of his run now moves elegantly, and that's leg side, and it's flicked away straight to Johnny Bairstow.
It's a fantastic start for England. 48 for 4.
Stokes in.
So wide ball outside off some. Hardik Pandya's got underneath this one and launched it over long off for 6.
He hits it miles, this bloke.
But Shreyas goes to 50 from 36 deliveries. Jofra Archer is in again, right arm over, and that standard deliver, and he's delivered it straight to Jordan at mid-off.
Anytime the ball goes in the air near Chris Jordan, go back.
Archer in again, and immediately on the attack, and it's a hat-trick. He'll be on now because Shardul has holed out.
Shardul Thakur goes for zilch.
And I can't remember what score Darren Goff said that India would get. I think it was 125, was it, Goffy?
Well, no, yeah, so they need 125 to win. So
124 for 7.
Our one-off.
And that's how it sounded on TalkSport 2, and you are listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2 with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team, led by Lizzie Ammon and former England captains Mike Atherton and Sir Alistair Cook. I'm John Norman, and alongside the former England T20, ODI and Test wicket keeper Matt Pryor. Matt, let's have a little look back at that first 20 overs. Which really did start with a surprise. Adil Rashid bowling the first over in an international T20 for the first time ever. 3 quick wickets, 20 for 3 when Shikhar Dhawan was out. Kohli going for a duck. A slight rebuilding effort via Rishabh Pant, who, as you heard just then, did to Ben Stokes. No, Jofra Archer, actually, what he did to Jimmy Anderson, pretty much, in T20 cricket today, Test cricket a few days ago. He was out for 21, though. Hardik Pandya for 19. and really the mainstay of the India innings, which ended with a score of 124 for 7. Shreyas Iyer, fine knock, his best in international T20, 67, with the wickets really being shared around. Jofra Archer, though, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 23, and a wicket apiece for Rashid, Wood, Stokes and Jordan. 2 overs bowled by Sam Curran as well. And really, I suppose England showing the flexibility in their approach to team selection, not picking Moeen Ali, so going in with just 1 spinner whilst India have gone in with 3, and not only throwing Adil Rashid the first over for the first time ever, also spring a surprise, bringing in Sam Curran and holding him back until the 9th over, and that just shows the mentality of T20 cricket, I suppose, and the captaincy of Owen Morgan.
Yeah, absolutely. And when, you tend to feel if one team picks 1 spinner and the other picks 3, one of them have got it right and one of them have got it wrong. And so far, England have got it absolutely spot on. I think what shocked us with the 1 spinner, Adil Rashid then takes, not just opens the bowling, takes the first over. And we know in 2020 cricket how crucial not just the first 6, but the first 1 over is. If India get off to a flyer, it changes the whole momentum of the innings. So the responsibility that Adil Rashid took on there was massive. So we'll talk, Goffey and Chudes will talk about the fast bowlers, and they did bowl brilliantly. Archer, quick. Took the 3 wickets for 23. Mark Wood, even quicker, going at 5 and over, 4 overs, 1 for 20. But the pick of the bowlers for me was Adil. He's okay, he didn't bowl his full complement, only the 3 overs, but for 14 runs. To go just over 4.5 and over as a spinner in India, having bowling in the first 6 overs in the power play, I mean, that sets a precedent, sets a tone.
In commentary, Alex Tudor said, it doesn't matter who you are, no one likes it when the ball is coming around your nose hole. You played a bit of cricket. Did you like it when the ball was coming around your nose hole?
No one likes it. No, Alistair Cook, he's probably the only one. We talk about that in the dressing room. But he hates it when it was full and outside of stop. But no, when you watch these things, and it's great because for so many years we watched, your Brett Lees and Shoaib Akhtars and these guys tearing in for the opposition. To have 2 England bowlers tearing in with a white ball, bowling 90 miles an hour plus consistently, it's a fantastic asset to have, and it's also another attacking option. Using a fast bowler in the middle overs, it was something for years England struggled in white ball cricket, because after that power play and after the shine had come off the ball, there was no real attacking option. Whereas now you can bowl Adil Rashid at the top of the innings in the power play. He's an attacking option. You hold Mark Wood back, you hold Jofra Archer back, but actually you say, right, there's nothing going on here. Right, there you go, Woody. Come and bowl 95 miles an hour, and let's take a wicket that way. It's such a powerful thing to have in your armoury.
Brilliant stuff. Matt Pryor will be back within the commentary team. Darren Gough and Alex Tudor have had about 2.5 minutes off as the players are making their way back out onto the field. Jason Roy opening up alongside Jos Buttler, and plenty of pressure on Roy. We know he struggles when the ball is turning away from the bat. Matt Pryor saying earlier on in comms, a lot of batsmen do. Well, India have got in Yasvendra Chahal, a leg spinner, and we all know about Axar Patel, the slow left armer. So expect them to bowl in the power play. But to find out if they do, it's your commentary team here for live and exclusive coverage. Ball by ball coverage. Alex Tudor and Darren Gough, 2 former England internationals, and of course also Guy Swindles.
And a bit of pressure, chaps, on Jason Roy, just as John was saying. Hasn't possibly got the greatest record against spin in T20, scores runs for fun against seamers usually, but then with a T20 World Cup coming up in India later this year, he could do with some runs in this series.
And he's going to face Axar Patel, who got most of his wickets during the Test series, with the one that went straight on. So I think Jason Roy, if it all comes straight onto him, will be all right, because he'll be able to hit through the line, as we've seen him do plenty of times for England and for Surrey, and will be okay. If he starts turning it away from Jason Roy, it might be a different matter.
Well, England setting out in pursuit then of the 125 they need for victory. Jason Roy and Jos Buttler. Axar Patel, first delivery is played comfortably by Jason Roy, coming forward to mid-on, no run. Where it's picked up by Hardik Pandya.
I tell you what, a lot of the conversation from this one-day side would have been around Axar Patel after he bowled so well in the Test series.
Axar Patel a little bit shorter, and that's just dropped down into the leg side, and they can trot through for a simple single. And England are underway, and Jason Roy is underway, 1 not out. Jos Buttler will face his first ball. And it is going to be interesting, with several key bowlers missing, how India defend what is a low total T20 these days. Particularly if either of these two batsmen get going. Axar Patel, and that's just punched away into the offside. Virat Kohli does the fielding, no run. England remain on 1 after 3 deliveries, but both batsmen have faced and both have looked comfortable so far.
One thing they do have is time.
Axar Patel in again. Buttler goes back, plays it back to the bowler, who moves sharply to his left to cut down any opportunity of a run. 1 without loss, and we're racing through this first over. He doesn't have a terribly long run up, does Axar Patel. And again, that's slightly shorter, and Buttler looked to cut it away, but instead hit it straight to the captain, Virat Kohli. No run.
If you're going to say OT, you're going to be quick, because he gets through his overs so quick, does Axar Patel.
Really does, doesn't he? Doesn't mess around. You don't have time much, and that is on leg stump, and Jos Buttler just strokes it nicely away, and they'll trot through for a couple, and nicely fielded in the deep. And it is England 3 without loss after the first over of their innings. Roy 1 not out, Buttler 2 not out.
Yeah, I'll learn from that, D. Yeah, he bowls that extremely quick, doesn't he? No messing around. I think I'll be waiting until the end of his overs to say anything. But what I was saying is that they're not chasing a massive total, so they don't have to go as they normally would, where you're trying to, make the most of the power play or whatever. They could just bat. And England have got a very long batting lineup. India have, a little bit of inexperience within their bowling. Still good bowlers, but a little bit of inexperience. So you're taking Bumrah and Shami out of this attack, and obviously Jadeja, who've played a lot of cricket. And there's a massive onus on Bhuvnesh Kumar to lead the line for this Indian bowling lineup.
And he's just coming back from injury as well, by the way. He's had a few injuries. India will probably want to take him on the test tour back to the UK. He's brilliant in English conditions, but he is mainly now being used by India in their one-day side, especially the T20.
He does have experience, that's for sure. 43 matches so far. He's taken 41 wickets, Bhuvnesh Kumar. When he comes into bowl, right arm over and straight forward, and it's very lucky, you feel, from Jason Roy there. I don't know quite what shot he was trying to play outside off stump, but he almost got a leading edge that just about beat the fielder. There are 1 or 2 bemused looking Indian fielders around, as somehow it didn't land up in their hands. Roy survives, trots through for a couple, and it's 2 more for England.
Well, he run down, he tried to get to the pitch of it, he got nowhere near it. There was just a little bit of movement, but the bats are that good these days, you just get half a bat on it and it sailed over short extra cover and run away for 2.
That really was extraordinary, and well, I suppose you make your own luck, but Jason Roy certainly made some then. Goffey described it brilliantly. He came down the pitch and never there, but got enough.
Just get bat on ball. I said the bats are that big, the edges are that thick these days. Half a bat and it runs away, doesn't it?
England will take it though. That was 2 more runs, so they're 5 without loss. Hardik Pandya was the man who looked so bemused by it all. Oh, and that's much better from Jason Roy. He's just latched onto that, smashed it 1 bounce to deep mid-wicket. And that's the Jason Roy that we know and love. And he moves on to 7, and England move on to 9 without loss.
Yeah, great show by Jason Roy. Actually didn't get, and we're sort of talking about what Darren talked about, how these bats are so good. He's got that nowhere near in the middle of the bat, sort of low portion of his bat bottom edge, and it flies down to deep square for 4 runs. Pressure on the bowler.
but it's clever batting as well, because he could see that was a very big space in that direction. So if he could just get something on there, and that worked very well this time. He is forced to punch off the back foot into the covers, no run.
That's why these batsmen like to play in these power plays, because as you say, you can only have two men out at only one time during the power play. So you want to make hay while the sun shines, and that's what Jason Roy does better than others more than often.
Yeah, he does. And the good thing about Jason Roy, no matter how bad a shot he's in, he plays the same way. And that's why he's kept his place at the top of the order, because they know when certain other players are on a dodgy spell.
Kumar in again, and again he steps outside off stump. Again plays probably not something that the batting coach would immediately teach you, as he flicks it away, luckily up in the air towards square leg, but it drops short of the fielder and then it dropped through for another run.
Just what I was saying there is, but when other players are going through a run of bad form, they tend to be more watchful. They're searching for runs, but Jason Roy, no matter what the occasion, he will play his way. He will come out and try and get bat and ball and use, to his advantage, only two fielders being outside of the 30-yard circle.
So clever, as we've got one more ball left of this second over. Bhuvneshwar Kumar to bowl it to Jos Buttler, and Buttler plays a very nice looking drive, but hit it so well, no chance for a single. That's the end of the second over. England remain on course, you would have thought, 10 without loss. You're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2, with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team writing with an H.
So obviously for India, obviously sort of stating the obvious, but for them to win this game, they're going to have to bowl England out. And obviously if England can see off the important overs from Bhuvneshwar Kumar, as we said, this wicket's a little bit too pace. There's a bit in it if you hit your length, and as we see Chahal coming into the attack now, good leg spinner, gets a lot of wickets, plays for RCB, so Virat knows him extremely well, trusts him, and he generally picks up wickets for India. So if England can see him off, it's sort of just taking them even further into maybe winning this game.
Well, it's about building pressure, isn't it, guys? You're going to build some pressure, and it's a decent start from India, but England will be happy. They're at 10 for none. Change of bowling, and like I say, you've got to take some wickets, early wickets, for India to have any chance.
Well, it will be Yuzvendra Chahal who will bowl, and that's a decent looking shot from Jason Roy, and it's gone all the way over long on. He had to fetch it a bit from outside off stump, but he got enough of the bat on. Well, welcome to the game, Chahal. I'll just smash you back over your head for 6.
Yeah, he saw that full, and he was always going to go up and over. You don't really have to give Jason Roy much of an invitation, but that little invitation there, see him park that for 6, great shot.
And England race on to 16. Now, just to warn us, Yuzvendra Chahal has a best bowling figures in T20 of 6 for 25. I'm guessing you can guess who he took those bowling figures against. It was England. So England do know how dangerous this guy can be. But Jason Roy trying immediately to knock him out of his step. This time, again, he looks to hit him, but doesn't quite middle it, and Chahal fields off his own bowling.
I tell you, the amazing thing about having a crowd in and having 67,000 in the ground, you can hardly hear Rishabh Pant. During the Test series, you could hear every single word. He's so lively behind the stumps, so loud.
As that is slightly on the short side, but Jason Roy tries to cut it away, but straight to the fielder in the covers, and there will be no run.
The good thing about hitting an early boundary, whether it be a 4 or 6, you can just wait for another bad ball during the over. He's no need to go searching for it, Jason Roy. He's just waiting, staying in his crease, waiting for that bad delivery, half a bad delivery, and he's going to cash in.
Chahal in again. Jason Roy waits for that and cuts it away, and it's an awful misfield at point, and it's gone straight through the legs of the fieldsman. I think it was Washington Sundar, and it has gone for 4.
That's a shocker, isn't it? That's a shocker. When you do that, don't look at Virat. He's going to be fuming, isn't he? One thing he He wants to, but it happens. Bit of backspin. Oh no! Well, actually, that has some serious spin on it. The old adage of, obviously, you know, when you've played a little bit of cricket and he's backslapped it, you know that there's going to be some spin. How much you don't know, but it did deviate quite badly there, D.
But you're supposed to get down one leg sideways as it's played onto a bowled leg stumpish, and it squirts out into the offside.
That's very true, but the amount of professional cricketers that would go down the wrong way when fielding that, so the normal way would be down when you bend your right knee, but the amount, because it's easier, they just bend with their left knee, and he was done.
Yeah. God, my school teacher, Mr. White, would have been furious with that piece of fielding. Yuzvendra Chahal in again, and that is an inside edge pass leg stump for a single. And Washington Sundar does field that time, but Jason Roy gets another one. He moves on to 19 from 13 deliveries. Joss Buttler 2 not out from 5, and England chasing 125 for victory after 3 overs. Good start, 21 without loss.
It is another interesting thing with this England team. They've been so good, haven't they, with Johnny Bairstow and Jason Roy at the top of the order for many years now, and Alex Hales did a little bit in there as well and did it to good effect. But they've decided they're desperate to get Josh Buttler up the order and get the best of him. They see him as one of the best T20 players around the world, so they want him to bat as long as he possibly can. And it's interesting when he goes back to his franchise in the IPL, it's almost Ben Stokes. Sometimes it's obviously sometimes Josh Buttler. I said many a time 2 years ago but why isn't Josh Buttler opening the batting for Rajasthan Royals? And then he got that job, he did well, and then they stuck him back down the order this last season and put Ben Stokes up there.
It's fascinating too, as well as listening to an interview with Joss Buttler beforehand, and how the way things are changing about how you chase totals. He was saying before he'd just try and keep up with the run rate, but now we're watching the West Indian team and how they approach it. Much bigger hitting is the way he is going to go, so it'll be interesting to see if we see some of the much bigger hitting, as that is forced out one-handed through the covers for a single by Jason Roy, who moves on to 20.
I think you're right, and I think they've seen the way that some of the most successful players around the world, McCullum, Gale, de Villiers, who have all played one-day cricket one way. Yes, you keep an eye on the scoreboard, you don't want scoreboard pressure to affect you, but it's all about scoring the runs as quick as you possibly can and changing momentum and getting on the top of the opposition.
It's Thakar who is on bowling, and that's punched away by Joss Buttler. He bisects 2 fielders. It speeds up, but there's an excellent piece of fielding to stop the ball getting to the boundary, and he will have to settle for 2.
I mean, especially with the West Indies, I think more than any other international team, they hit the most sixes. Big, powerful guys. You know, they hit a lot of boundaries. So they do that better than anyone, and that's Australia, England, India.
T, can you remember when one day cricket was about whoever gets the most 2s will win the game? It's nothing to do with that now.
That seems an awful long time away. Now, he attempted rampish shot by Joss Buttler. Doesn't really quite work. It squirts out, it's safe, but didn't quite get what he meant to do going on that one as he tried to flick it over his shoulder. It actually ran up his bat, hit his bottom, and then went out to point.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, good bowling, clever bowling. Watching the batsman, he went to leg side first, then he went across to the off, but the bowler watched him all the way, followed him and cramped him up, and he had nowhere to go.
Decent record, Shardul Thakur in T20 as he beats Joss Buttler outside the off stump on that particular occasion, as Buttler looks to drive, doesn't get to the pitch. 23 wickets at 22, best figures of 4 for 27. So certainly knows how to cause batsmen problems in this form of the game.
Yeah, bowling with some good pace as well, and obviously playing a lot of IPL, and Joss playing a lot of IPLers also. He would have come across him a lot, and he knows that shuffle that he does, that sort of, he goes leg side, then he comes offside because he wants to play that ramp shot. So it was fantastic bowling.
Shardul Thakur, right arm over in to Joss Buttler, and Buttler this time treats him with respect, goes back, plays it off his toes, gets a single, decent piece of fielding, hits the stumps. They don't go for the overthrow, and England move on to 25 without loss.
They might have done if it had been a World Cup final at Lords 2 years ago. They'd have been running if it was a close one like that one.
What, Goffey, what did you make of? Did you see the West Indies game against Sri Lanka?
Yeah, the run out.
With the run out.
Shocking, wasn't it?
Mate,
I mean, see, Pollard has come out and apologised since.
So he should.
He's come out and said sorry because he didn't realise. He thought it was a lot worse when he was out on the field, and after watching it back on numerous occasions, he's actually said he made a mistake, which is, I think it's a good thing for him to come out and say that.
Thakur to Jason Roy, who middles that and plays a superb off drive. It wasn't quite to the pitch of the ball, but he just got so much of it and it went so fast. Fielder had absolutely no chance. Roy races on to 24 from just 15 deliveries. England to 29 without loss after just 4, and well on their way.
Well, this is why he's such a big player, Jason Roy, for England, because he plays the same way no matter what sort of run of form he's in, and he can get England off to absolute flyers on any pitch whatsoever. He's just one of those players. He's dynamite. He's someone you want in your side. You've got to take, he might go for a run of low scores, but when he gets into that vein of form, which a good striker of a cricket ball, he gets England off to absolute flyers.
Must be so frustrating for bowlers as well, because he's not at the pitch, he just slaps you away. And there's another change as Aksar is back, and he has just been blasted by Butler back over his head. Oh, brilliant fielding. I think he saved the 6, but he couldn't cling on, and that was just stunning. Butler cleared the ropes, the fielder running back, managed to leap back over the boundary, get the ball back out, but he couldn't cling on for what would have been a ludicrous catch. Brilliant.
Well, you're listening on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, and what a time to tune in, because that is quite brilliant. Full stretch, diving backwards, and while he was just about to land on the floor, he threw it back. Great athlete there, great fielding from India, but England 31 for none on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
I think it's KL Rahul we have to lift our hats off to for that piece of fielding. It really was glorious. Right, well, Butler, after seeing 6 turn into 2, plays that just into the covers, and it is no run.
And Goffey, that's where the game's changed. You reckon you see Gus Fraser?
I'd have just watched it go over.
Me doing that?
Gus Fraser. I'd love to see Gus sleep. Oh, it's a swing and it's a shout for LB from Aksar. The crowd are interested, but I'm not sure that too many of the players are. They are having a little bit of a chat about it.
Panic stations. They didn't get it right, the reviews in the Test series.
Oh, and they're reviewing, and Kohli's gone for it.
They had a shocker in the Test
series. And the
series.
wicketkeeper, I think Rishabh Pant was going, why do you do that? So, and now Virat Kohli's going, sorry, did I say review? I didn't mean to.
Like I said, the communication between India throughout the whole series, whether it be the Test series, now the T20, has been all over the shop.
He'll be out now, won't he? Yeah, they'll have got it right. But I don't think so. Nobody thought that was out. It's pitched outside. He's gone for the sweep shot.
Terrible review.
And at the moment, Verinder Sharma, the third umpire. Andrew McKenna is out showing me that it can't possibly be out.
Keep rolling nice and slow. Yeah, I can see the gap between bat and ball, flat line as the ball passes
Butler
the bat.
hasn't hit it.
No bat involved, bat first. Ball tracking, please.
Just get onto the ball tracking.
Miles. Pitching outside off, impact umpire's call.
So bad.
Wickets hitting. Going back to Ananta on field. Ananta,
so there we go.
Decision.
It is not out as everybody except Virat Kohli thought, because the ball pitched miles outside.
If I were Virat Kohli, I'd just pass it over to someone else to make the decision, because he just hasn't got a clue. There's no communication between Rishabh Pant and Virat Kohli every single time.
No, it was extraordinary, because Rishabh Pant was going, what did you do that for? As the next ball is punched away for 4. What a lovely shot that was, and this time the diving Rahul He'd saved a 6 earlier in the over. He couldn't stop that 4. Butler gets his boundary eventually. And 4 more to the England score as they now begin to really put pressure on India. Remember, India were 20 for 3, eventually staggered to 124 for 7. And now England are 35 without losses. Butler goes big again. No one diving's going to save that, as that is deposited into the 67,000 strong crowd for 6 more. Butler goes 4-6. England go 41 without loss.
Well, this is going to... Let's see what the real Axar Patel's like. He's not bowling on these big turners in the Test series. Now bowling to 2 dynamic batsmen who love to come down the wicket and hit it as far as they possibly can. And Roy and Butler are tucking in here. Axar Patel 0 for 15 of 1.5. Who would have thought that 2 weeks ago? England 41 for none off just 4.5 deliveries.
Absolutely, a man who was averaging taking wickets at just over 10 in the Test series. The ball isn't coming back.
He's now going at 10s.
It's where the game changes, isn't it, D? I mean, it's a different ball, different game. You've got, 2 explosive players at the top of the order coming after you. Great shot. Just dancing use of his feet. That's what we were saying with the England players, maybe in the Test, where we sort of stayed in the crease. You've got to try and advance, come down the wicket, and maybe get him to change his length.
Got the wipes on the ball now. It's been dispatched into the crowd. Going to clean the ball before they restart the match. They didn't want to give it back. There's 67,000 people in that stadium. All want to take a bit of...
Final ball of the 5th over, and Jos Buttler is going to come down the pitch and push into the offside, and a single will be taken. So 5 overs gone, 42 without loss are England. They're trying to make 125 to win this game. They are absolutely flying along. Roy 24 from 15, Butler 18 from 15, and well, India are trying to buy wickets from just about anywhere at the moment, judging by their LBW review that they just had.
Shocker, wasn't it, Macca? Absolute shocker. 42 for none here on TalkSport 2. They're going to stick with the seam, it looks like, of Kumar. Has took Shardul off after just the 1 over. It's gone back for his number 1 seamer, Bhaveshwar Kumar. Fantastic performer over many years. They're going to have to do something special here, India. Target of 125 and off just 5 overs. England sitting pretty at 42 for none.
Well, India have had 1 good performance today. Shreyas Iyer's 67 out of their 124 for 7. They need someone else to join it. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's on his way. Jos Buttler from the crease, pushing into the offside. Jason Roy offers to come from the non-striker's end, but they won't take. Actually, I'm going to amend that. There's 2 decent performances from the Indians so far today, and the second one is whoever decided to go back and give India an update on the retro kit from years ago, because I've got to tell you, this dark blue kit that India are playing in is absolutely top draw. That looks the business to me.
It does. Would that go on your bedroom wall, Macca?
I might have that next to a photo of Chris Reed or something like that. Absolutely. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is in. Jos Buttler turns this on the onside. They will take 1 through square leg. They're going to come back for a second. KL Rahul's the man with the throw, and it has been safely beaten out by Jason Roy, who makes his ground, and 2 taken. England 44 without loss.
Well, the So England have success at the World Cup 50 overs by using the 92 retro kit. Perhaps India are thinking on home soil it could be the right kit to use, but it's not working for them so far in this game. Looks pretty, but England so dominant so far.
Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in. Jos Buttler turns this backward of square leg. They will take 1 and come back for a second. So India are in dark blue, and on the shoulders there's red, white, green and a lighter blue stripe. England are in their red shirts with blue trousers. So I've got to say, though, that the India kit looks very, very smart this evening, but so far it's not really done them much good. Other than that KL Rahul piece of fielding on the boundary, which, when you remember, KL Rahul is quite often a wicket-keeper as well, makes it even more impressive. Bhuvi Kumar is in, punched up by Jason Roy to Shardul Thakur, the man at mid-on, and there's no run on this occasion. So couple of towels knocking around the Indian players at the moment. The dew coming down, they just want to keep that. So they've got bright golden yellow towels sticking out the back of their trousers, some of them.
Well, they were worried about it, weren't they, Macca? That's why both teams wanted to have a ball first, about the dew. They're obviously going to affect them. Virat Kohli, we're talking about his bowlers have been having to practice bowling with a damp ball, and it's not easier, speaking from experience. I've done it on a few occasions, and it's really, really difficult. I talked about it the other day in that final at the Oval.
Absolutely. Kumar is in. Jos Buttler off the back foot hammers this to a point. Shreyas Iyer will do the fielding, and there is no run. Obviously, it's the same whether it's a seamer or a spinner. Would you say it's more difficult for a spinner with a dewy ball, or is it about equal?
Yes, I would say so. I think it's more difficult for a spinner, without a doubt. I think what you tended to do, and what I've done in the past, is but you take out if there's no swing, you start bowling it across seam.
Kumar on his way for the final ball of his second over, and Jos Buttler will just punch this. Oh, what a shot from Jos Buttler. Beats the man at mid-on. Looked like he was just playing it for a single. It beats the man. It goes for 4. England's 50 is up. Final ball of the 6th over. So that's the fielding power play done and dusted. England 50 without loss, trying to make 125.
Well, it looks a different pitch, doesn't it? I mean, the way England have played so far, that's just a fantastic cricket shot from Jos Buttler. Great balance at the crease, using the pace of the ball of Kumar, let the ball come to him and just punched it straight past wide mid-on, and he runs away for 4. No need to run between the wickets for that. Chasing the target at 125, 50 for none here on TalkSport 2, and 6 overs have gone.
It is the first T20. And our coverage on TalkSport 2 is sponsored by The Times and The Sunday Times. You can try that for free for a month at thetimes.co.uk/cricket offer. Now that subscription does auto-renew unless you cancel it. Terms and conditions do apply with that. So at this stage, India are 22 for 3. England are now 50 without loss. Goffey's moved out, Matt Pryor's moved in. And to just continue the point I was making with Goffey a second ago, Matt, the reason I'm asking about whether spinners or seamers would be more affected by the dew, and he said spinners, well, India have got more spinners, and therefore that's something else that could play into England's hands here.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, it is tough for a spinner when the seam gets greasy, ball gets generally quite wet, it's really hard to get it dry again, and you just can't get the fingers on the ball for long enough.
Akshar Patel left arm around to Jason Roy. Jason Roy tries to play into the onside, gets in a bit of a tangle, and it drops down at his feet, and there's no run. Jason Roy has 24 from 16 balls faced. Jos Buttler 26 from 21. Roy's coming down the pitch, hitting into the leg side, hitting over the leg side. That's another souvenir from somebody. Jason Roy has got another one, bang out of the screws of that bat. His second 6. He goes to 30, England 56 without loss.
I mean, I know they are different teams, but this England team, this T20 England team just looks so assured and so at home in these conditions. Jason Roy down the track, taking on Akshar Patel, backing himself all the way. That's another 82-metre hit. Carries the boundary by a long, long way. And England now moving on to 56 for none off 6.2 overs. It does look like they're playing on a different wicket altogether.
2 men out on the leg side for Akshar. 1 at cow corner, 1 at long on. Jason Roy hammers this back past the bowler for a single. He's almost playing a straight drive with a horizontal bat there, Jason Roy. He's swinging very, very hard. No real timing on this occasion, but it will get him a single. 57 without loss.
I mean, hard to criticise a man on 31 off 18 balls, but he doesn't look like he's at his most fluent best just yet.
Jos Buttler gets this one from Akshar, who drives out to the cover sweeper, who's Washington Sundar. Single taken, 58 without loss.
He's played a couple of shots where he's maybe trying to force it, not quite got it in the right position, but still going with it, backing himself. Such a fantastic striker of the ball.
Because as Goffey said earlier, you can't tell whether he's in good nick or bad nick, Jason Roy, because he plays the same way as he punches this one back down the pitch. The bowler fields no run, and that's a good thing because he's got confidence. You were talking about it earlier, his role in the side. His role is to play this way, and he has the captain's backing.
Well, it's this format as well. I mean, whether you're in nick or out of nick, there's one way to play.
Aksar is in, swung hard by Jason Roy again with a horizontal bat. Virat Kohli fields at short extra cover. 7 overs gone here on TalkSport 2. England 58 without loss, trying to make 125. Matt Pryor.
Yeah, just going on, talking about Jason Roy and is he in form or out of form. I agree with Goffey, it's quite hard to tell, but 31 off 20 balls, he's certainly hitting the ball beautifully when he gets hold of it. The only thing I look at is there have been a couple of shots where he's really tried to force it and not quite got in the right shape. But in this format, sometimes if you're not hitting the ball so well, it's the best format to play because you only have one option, and that is to attack and play with positivity, take the positive approach every single delivery, and you're one shot away from being back in the form of your life, and that's certainly what Jason Roy has done so far this innings, and long may it continue.
England have done so many things well today. First match of this series, setting the tone, and they've got them there. One thing I would highlight from the performance with the ball, only 2 extras, 2 wides in that 20 overs when India were batting. Chahal is going to start a new over, the leg spinner. This is outside of Butler's off stump. He will hammer it out to the cover sweeper, Shardul Thakur. Single taken. Butler goes to 28. It's 59 without loss. Just not bowling those extra deliveries, giving away those free runs. As I was about to say, it all adds up, but in this case, of course, it's the opposite. It doesn't add up because you're not giving them anything for free.
Yeah, absolutely. So crucial in any form of the game, but particularly in the shortest form. No extras. It's crucial.
Jason Roy hammers this one into the onside. It's going to beat the man who was at mid-wicket as well. Wasn't out on the boundary all the way, but to be perfectly honest with you, even if he was, I don't think he'd have got there because Jason Roy rocks back. Washington Sundar was really a spectator, and that has flown away through mid-wicket. It's another 4 to the England total. They're now 63 without loss.
Yeah, now that is an informed Jason Roy shot, without a shadow of a doubt. Just dropping a little bit short, not that much, but so quick on his feet, Roy, and punishes the ball onto the leg side, beating the man at deep mid-wicket.
England are halfway there. We're in the 8th over. They're a bit more now because Jason Roy's taking the next ball up and over the mid-wicket fence, and another one into the spectators. The 4th 6 of the England innings, 69 without loss, and this is something quite spectacular from England. They are taking on India in their own back garden. They've rolled them out and kept them to 125, and England in reply are 69 without loss already.
Chahal just stands there, sort of finger in his mouth, arms folded, thinking, what can I do here? Jason Roy's just got down, slog sweep, gets all of it. Another 6 for him. And England, as you say, Mac, they've taken the attack to this Indian team. From the minute Owen Morgan won the toss, they've done everything right so far.
1-4-6 this over has gone. Jason Roy, 41 from 22 balls faced. And he is settling in once again. In goes Chahal. Roy swings into the leg side. This isn't going to be 6. Will it be 4? No, it won't. Washington Sundar will get around, and it will be 2. Now, Washington Sundar did look a little bit like he was on ice skates there, so I wonder if the dew is definitely getting a little bit slippery for the outfielders there. He wasn't quite firm-footed. England 71 without loss. Jason Roy, 43 from 23. He's got 5 international T20 50s so far. He plays a flat-batted drive at this one, and it's back past the bowler. It will be cut off. It's Shikhar Dhawan who's down at long off. It will be just a single. England go to 72, Roy to 44. Yeah, Jason Roy, 890 runs from 38 T20 internationals before, so that's an average of only 23.4. Highest score of 78 with 550s, but the strike rate 144. Now this one's taken, just Butler on the pad, and it's out LBW. Almost out of nowhere. Chahal sends it down there. It hits Butler on the pad. He's walked off. They're not even thinking about a review. But Jason Roy does actually walk across to have a quiet word. But there's no way Butler's interested. He knows that one's absolutely dead. He walks off with 28 from 24 balls. And India have a huge breakthrough. That would have gone on and hit middle and leg. And the first wicket for England is down. 72 for 1 here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, Josh Buttler, such a shame because he looked so assured. He looked so calm in how he played. 28 runs from 24 balls. Just strides forward, plays a really orthodox forward defence, but Chahal with a bit of drift, a bit of spin, beats Josh Buttler's defences, wraps him on the pad in front of all three. Didn't even look at his batting partner Jason Roy, whether he was going to refer it. And off he goes. England now 72 for 1 from 8 overs here on TalkSport 2.
Don't worry, crisis averted. England have lost a wicket, but the world's best T20 players walking to the crease. So it's not going to get any easier for India. Here comes David Malan. Had that incredible run of form at the back end of last year. The games down in South Africa, just played brilliantly. And he strides to the crease with England 72 for 1, needing only 125 to win the game. Averages 53.4 in T20 international cricket, does David Malan. 100, 9 50s and a strike rate of 149.5.
Some stats, like
not bad, is it? Not bad at all.
Some stats.
He's going to have to wait though, because Jason Roy is on strikes. That was the final ball of the 8th over. Roy has 44 from 24. England have broken the back of this one already. You feel. Hardik Pandya has ball in hand for the first time in a while, actually, after his injury problems. Best of 4 for 38 in T20s. The captain needs something, well, arguably better than that in this situation. We've got to that stage. So Hardik's on his way in. He's going to bowl right arm over. It's a short ball. And Jason Roy hammers that out to the mid-wicket sweeper, where Shardul Thakur is going to field, and there will be a single, 73 for 1. And David Malan comes down onto strike for his first ball. It's a strange dismissal. It was strangely normal cricket in many respects, which you don't often get in T20. Actually, just seeing the ball tracking off that, it only would have just clipped the top of the bails. It would have been umpire's call for the record. Now, the fact he was given out obviously wouldn't have saved Josh Buttler, but there was a decent amount of bounce for Chahal there.
Buttler will be furious that he's got out defending. The irony. Should have just kept attacking.
Well, it's like Ben Stokes said during the Test match series to us. I don't want to get caught around the bat. If I'm going to get caught, I might as well be caught on the boundary if there's one with my name on it. Right, the left-handed Malan has taken guard, settled in. India have set their field, and in comes Hardik Pandya. There's a slip in place, and it's an under edge from David Malan. It was a wide delivery from Hardik, that he threw his hands out, got an under edge, and it's through to keeper Rishabh Pant, and there is no run.
He's got away with one there. Pandya was short and wide. Malan just unable to get out the middle of the bat, under edges it to the wicketkeeper. Malan's stats have come up again, and I can't get my head around it.
Well, this was a bloke for a while that couldn't get into the team, if you remember. But when he got his opportunity, my goodness, he's taken it. The best T20 player in the world, according to the ICC rankings. Malan guides this to backward points. No run on this occasion, but no real problem. 0 from 2, but with England 73 for 1 after 8 overs and 3 balls, chasing 125, he can have a look at a few.
Best T20 batsman, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, according to the rankings.
Well, England have been absolutely fantastic so far today. Unfortunately losing Buttler in the last over, but they have seriously taken the attack to India here.
Hardik Pandya is in. It's the short ball. It's I think a slower ball, short ball. Oh, and David Malan has played that with all the assurance of a man where he is in the rankings, and he just guides it off of his hip through very fine leg, and it is away for 4. He's played that beautifully.
Yeah, he has done it. It's a slow ball bouncer attempt from Pandya. Nearly does Malan for a bit of pace, but actually stops his shot really well up on one leg. His right knee up as he just paddles paddle pulls the ball round the corner and beats fine leg on his left hand.
77 for 1, England. Hardik Pandya comes in, right arm. It's another short ball. And David Milan decides he's going to have nothing to do with that one and allows it through to Rishabh Pant.
Slightly different, though, isn't it? True's talked about, having the ball up around your head, and slightly different. I looked at that. Hardik Pandya's last ball, bouncer, was 127 kilometres an hour. Mark Wood was at 150 odd, I think it was. Slightly different.
Yeah, you've got slightly more time to play Hardik's version.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's on his way for the final ball of the over. It's another short one. And Milan elects not to play at that. 9 overs gone here on TalkSport 2. 77 for 1. That's an interesting tactic, Matt Pryor. I don't know if they've spotted something in David Milan, or they think that maybe, we've been saying there's a bit of two-pace nature of the pitch and that they might be able to exploit it, but that definitely seems a plan from Hardik to David Milan.
Yeah, there's always been a bit of chat about David Milan on the short ball and how he deals with it, but I think as much as that, I think you're right. It's about the sort of two-pace nature of the wicket that we saw in the Indian innings. In England had some good success with a short ball, if not taking wickets, but not many runs were scored off the short ball. Bit of variable bounce, but as we just mentioned, the short ball at 150 k's an hour is a very different prospect to a short ball at 130. And how good for England, we spoke about it in the break, but how fantastic for England to have bowlers like Wood and Archer who can bowl at that pace consistently.
Been crying out for it for years. Now we've got loads of them. England need 48 from 66 balls to go 1-0 up in this 5-match series. To be honest, this performance has been so comprehensive. You should almost get more than a single point for this. They've dominated it. Right, Chahal is back for his third over. He's got 1 for 25 so far, and Jason Roy immediately takes him to long on a couple of bounces. And so it will be just a single. Roy goes to 46, England 78 for 1.
Yeah, you can see Roy's not wanting to make the mistake that Butler made, and he's certainly not going to get out defending, I don't think. The minute a spinner comes on, he just wants to attack him from ball one. Looking for that sort of slog sweep, mid-wicket area.
The Narendra Modi Stadium is crying out for another wicket. The locals want to be able to raise their voices. 67,500 of them in for this. They're enjoying the cricket, of course they are. They're in watching sport and they're all packed in. But they would like to see the home side doing a little more. David Milan off the back foot. Chahal just pushes out on the offside. And there is no run on this occasion.
I think this is as quiet as 67,000 Indian cricket fans will be at a 2020 international. Their team are seriously behind the 8 ball here.
Well, as the Barmy Army said in the MCG on one previous occasion, as Chahal goes in, and that's the inside portion of David Milan's bat. That was a leg spinner that maybe did a little bit more than Milan was expecting. It looped out on the leg side to no one in particular, so there will be a single taken, 79 for 1. But you remember, of course, the Barmy Army were very famously on one Boxing Day Test match in the MCG pointing out how quiet it was from the Aussies, and we all enjoyed that, obviously.
It was a wonderful day.
Good afternoon, everyone in the Barmy Army. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm sure you will be. It's cricket. Chahal has got a slip in place as he's going to bowl to Jason Roy. He goes in. Jason Roy steps away to the leg side, turns it on the leg side. Chahal is the only man really within 40 metres of that one, so he's going to have to sprint after it. Slide. It will be just a single. England 80 for 1. Roy is 46 not out. A little conversation between Roy and Milan just about wrist position and which way it was turning. All the sort of conversations you can quite happily have when you're 80 for 1 in the 10th. Milan comes forward, turns it on the leg side, nice and easy. There's no man on the leg side other than the short fine leg, so it's an easy shot for Milan to play and just stroll and take a single. And it sounds daft to say it, but in a T20 game, that's all England need to do at the moment. They're 81 for 1.
It is, Mackie, you're right, and I mean, that's good cricket from Milan. It's really good cricket. Don't do anything that's not necessary. The singles there, the singles all, to be taken all around this outfield.
Roy 47 not out. Chahal is in. It's a wide outside of the off stump, and Actually, Jason Roy has gone on the reverse to try and catch up with that. Doesn't get hold of it. We are at the halfway stage. England have been set 125 to win this game. The thick end are 2/3 of the way there already at the halfway stage. They're 81 for 1 with Jason Roy 47 not out, David Milan 6 not out. Some more thoughts from Matt Pryor, and Guy Swindles will take over the ball by ball.
Yep, England so far absolutely fantastic, and after 10 overs, India were 48 for 4, England 81 for 1. It's like they're batting on a different wicket. They've been fantastic. They were fantastic in the field, and Butler and Roy taken the attack to it, done exactly what I think they needed to do. You know, attack that first 6 overs, get England off to a really strong start. Sometimes when you're chasing a low total, you can sort of prod around a little bit and almost build pressure on yourself, but they've done the exact opposite so far, the England batsmen, in a fantastic position.
Hardik Pandya in on leggish stump, and it's just played down backward of square for a single by David Milan, and he moves on to 7. Jason Roy on 47. Alex Tudor back with us, and England 43 required from 9.5 overs. Should win.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. I mean, the boys have looked good from the start. Sometimes you just get a feeling, and the boys look really up for it. As you said, new people coming in, not sort of been damaged with what happened in the Test series. As you say, it was important for Jason Roy to do what he's doing, and this is why, you know, Owen Morgan likes him inside, because if he has a day out, generally he's going to take a game away from a team.
Very important innings for Roy this, you feel, as he slaps the ball into the covers for probably just 1. I don't think they'll trot through for 2. They don't have to. They do just take the single. So Roy moves on to 48 from just 29 deliveries. He'd been on a bit of an iffy run coming into this one. Talk about whether he was going to cope with the Indian conditions and spin as he hit Chahal's first ball for 6. It's been a pretty emphatic statement of intent from Jason Roy.
Yeah, no, he's been good. Jace, he looks good, and I've known him from as a young kid when he first sort of burst into the Surrey side.
Pandya in again, and Milan just tucks the ball around the corner almost casually for 4 runs. It was almost as if he saw that fine leg was pretty wide, and he just tickled it round very, very straight round the corner, and it's 4 more. Milan moves to 11 off 10. England moved to 87 for 1.
Yeah, well, Pandya sticking with the short ball theory to Milan. Another slow ball bouncer rather than the fast one. Milan more than up to it, just again a bit like the last over. He just gets a little inside edge, beats the man at fine leg. Another boundary out. The short ball so far isn't really working for India.
Milan seems to have plenty of time. And Pandya in again to Milan, and this time, well, he cuts through where slip would have been. It's a fine piece of fielding out on third man, who cuts off the 4 runs, but they still trot through for another single, and Milan moves to 12. Shakar out on the boundary did very well to save his team 3 runs then. But again, it was short, it was cuffed away, and could well have been another 4.
So I'm a massive Hardik Pandya fan. I think he's really exciting. He's up there for me, top 3. When he can bowl and bowling well, all-rounders in the world. I mean, he can do everything. Field, bowl, quite nippy, a little bit quicker than you would think. And as Matt said when it comes to batting, for someone who's quite slight in build, he can lash a ball out of ground. Dangerous player.
So Roy on 48 not out, Hardik Pandya in. Roy, well, it hits him on the pad, and they think for a long time about a leg by, and in fact their discussion went on so long they talked themselves out of it, because I think it was probably there.
Yeah, it's one of those where both batsmen kind of meet in the middle, shake hands, and then decide not to run and go back to the sides they started.
But just watching him, he just looks, Hardik Pandya, this is on his bowling, just looks like he's just searching a little bit. You can see that he's not bowled for a long time. He hasn't got any real rhythm on his follow through. He's just pulling up slightly short. India, I feel, if they're going to be successful when come the World T20 World Cup, they'll need him firing, because if you've got him firing, it just gives you more options in the bowling stakes.
Pandya then in again, and Jason Roy plays this out into the leg side. They go for one, that's all it will be as Chahal comes in. But Roy will be on strike at the beginning of the 12th over on 49 not out from just 31 deliveries. England now 89 for one. They require 36 from 9. So the required run rate is 4 and over. And this has been a pretty emphatic statement by the world number 1 team against the world number 2. And England's ranking not looking misplaced currently, chaps.
Certainly not. It'll be interesting to see now. I mean, England have earned the right. 4.5 and over. They've earned the right to just tick them off, take the singles, and win one down. Will they do it? Because the England team that I think, or certainly the mentality they have, is we want to beat this Indian team as quickly as possible. Jason Roy on 49 currently. I don't think he's going to stop. Just be interesting to see how they go about their business the next 9 overs.
No, it's an interesting one. Is the old momentum thing would start coming up then, I guess, if you have put them in. Washington Sundar is, though, coming on and into the attack. The man charged with trying to stop Jason Roy reaching his half century. Jason Roy 49 not out and in the zone currently. It's Washington Sundar bowls. Oh, and that's a good delivery and a big LBW shout, and he's given. Now, will Jason Roy have a think about this? There's a slightly indeterminate shot from Jason Roy. I think Milan's probably delivering him some bad news. It did look pretty plumb. But on 49 not out, do England review? Yes, they do.
Yeah, odd shot from Jason Roy. Well, odd shot. He was just trying to turn it into the leg side for his single to get his 50, I think.
There's a player review for LBW.
Now, our LBW guru and
fair delivery. Move on to
Andrew McKenna,
vision, please.
He thinks that there is a chance that Roy may get away with this, but it is umpire's call. Matt Pryor's finger is very much up.
Can I have front on?
I'm afraid I'm in the Pryor camp on this one.
Can I have ultra edge here, please?
I don't think he got an inside edge. No, he didn't.
Yeah, keep rolling. Flat line, keep rolling.
He gone.
Flat
For me,
yeah,
he gone.
Gap between
yeah,
bat and ball.
in a situation like that, it has to be a shocker. He's not hit it, no inside edge.
No bat involved.
I suppose the argument was, did he get outside the line, the batsman?
Yeah, so that's his only hope, isn't it? If he's hit outside the line.
Pitching outside off.
But the impact is umpire's call, and then it's hitting middle. So, yes, it's another one of those that if he'd been given not out, he would have survived, but he was given out. And Jason Roy misses out on a half century that, to be perfectly frank, he deserved. He's hit 5 half centuries in his T20 career, yet to get 100, surprisingly, considering he opens and the batsman he is. But he misses out on half century number 6, trapped LBW by Washington Sundar for 49 of 32 deliveries, including some very big sixes. Excellent innings from Jason Roy, but England now have lost both openers, 89 for 2 after 11 overs and 1 ball.
It was interesting. I was just seeing that dismissal on a technical point. His foot got planted, okay, but his foot was sort of pointing towards sort of extra cover. So he bent his knee, and in doing so, his bat had to come round his front leg, and it got caught in the pad. So he weren't able to produce the bat to the ball, and it just ended up being a bit innocuous and hitting him on front. And as you said, he's disappeared. He's gone for 49. Unfortunate for him, he wasn't able to see it home, but a good start to the series for Jason Roy, because we all said it's important for him to start well.
He did seem to be looking to try and get his half century in singles. Did he need to carry on playing the game he had been playing before, or was he doing the right thing?
Sometimes that's what happens when a milestone comes, obviously. Matt's done it loads of times. I've only done it once or twice, but sometimes, especially for me, I was playing to get to either 50 or 100. Matt, it happened a lot, so he most probably just played the same way. But it looked like he was playing the scoreboard instead of just playing.
Well, it's Johnny Bairstow who has come out, a man who has opened innings for England and, of course, in the IPL as well. He has come out at number 4 and just shows the power of the England top order at the moment, that they do have a man like Bairstow coming in at 4, with Ben Stokes and Owen Morgan still to come, of course, as well as a decent tail. So Jason Roy is gone. The ball is now delivered. Bairstow goes on the back foot, punches it up to mid-on, no run. Dawood Milan 12 not out. Bairstow waiting to get off the mark. As England, well, stuttering slightly towards their target of 125, but still plenty of time and wickets, more importantly, to go here on TalkSport 2. And that ball is played out onto the leg side. There is no run, so a couple of sighters as far as Bairstow is concerned from Washington Sundar. Hasn't looked to immediately attack, doesn't have to. So 68 runs short of 1,000 in this format. Johnny Bairstow, as he does get off the mark, cutting the ball away for a single to deep point. And England move to 90 for 2.
It'll be a bit of a relief, that, I think, for Bairstow.
Oh, yes.
A pretty poor test series. What was it? The three ducks?
3 ducks in 4,
ducks in the series. So don't think for 1 minute, just because they've changed the colour of clothing, that he wouldn't have been thinking about that in this innings. So relief. I mean, it is just the one-off 3 balls, but it's a relief nonetheless.
Yeah. On the scoreboard is ticking. So Dawood Milan, now as the field changes for the left-handed Milan, looking around to see what Virat Kohli and Washington Sundar are trying to set for him. Round the wicket, right arm round onto leg stump, and it's just gently stroked away. And another run is accrued by England, and they move to 91 for 2. Still a ball left of the 12th over. Crowd quiet, match a bit quiet at the moment.
Not one that any of us were expecting, I don't think.
No.
When we turned up this morning.
Sundar in again, and that's played by Bairstow. Very nicely, head over the ball, up to mid-on. He trots through for his second single. He has now moved to 2 from 4 deliveries. Milan is 13 off 12. England 92 for 2 after 12. They require another 33 runs off 8 overs. So the run rate has crept up above 4.
They're just milking it at the moment, as we say in cricket, with cricket terminology here, just milking it, just taking what's on offer, just singles, they're not going berserk.
Got you.
I mean, the modern side, especially with England now, be trying to do it as fast as possible, not trying to take it deep, just try and do it within 15, 16 overs and try and absolute annihilate India in this first game.
Well, you're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2 with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team, led by Lizzie Ammon and former England captains Mike Atherton and Sir Alistair Cook. And England really have, well, from the moment they won the toss, the moment they took early wickets to leave India 20 for 3, including a duck for Virat Kohli, they've been firmly in control in this match. Chahal is on again, expensive early on, but hit back to take a wicket. 1 for 29 off 3 for Chahal at the moment, replacing Hardik in the bowling attack. Just changing the field a little bit. Looking around to see who he has where. Bairstow doing the same. This is the first ball Bairstow has faced from Chahal. Johnny Bairstow then. Chahal in. Bairstow down, and Bairstow smashes him back over his head. Has he got enough on it? Yes, he has. As it goes over the fielder, and it's 6. And for the second time, Chahal has seen the first ball of his over smashed back over his head by the person who was facing him for the first time for 6. Jason Roy did it earlier, and now Bairstow has done it to him too. Didn't get all of it, but he got enough.
They're just not going to allow Chahal to bowl. I think that's it's obviously a plan of those. They're just going to get after him because he is a very important bowler for this Indian side. And as I said, Virat Kohli does trust him, but they're just saying, right, we're just going to come after you. And that's what they've done so far.
So Hardik Pandya was the fielder who watched it sail over his head. And this time Bairstow smashes him out on the leg side. Oh, it was nearly a brilliant catch, diving forward by Shakar, but he couldn't cling on. Bairstow has a life. Bit of a smile to Chahal. and he hits him for 6 and very nearly out, but not quite. He gets another one. He moves to 9. England move to 99 for 2.
Great effort there by Shekhar Dhawan. Johnny Bairstow's got a good piece of that. Slowed down. He's had to dive forward. Just bounced in front of him. Great attempt, great effort. And that's what India needed, obviously, if they're going to try and win this game, but which is looking less likely. But they need those chances need to stick.
They certainly do. You compare it with the catch that Milan took, where it just carried and he took a blinding catch. India not quite having the same rub of the green at the moment. So England on 99, and that is the attempted reverse, well, the attempted sweep by Milan. Doesn't really come off. The ball is just bunted forward. Strange kind of shot, and in fact it hits right the toe end of the bat and just bobbles about a yard or two forward. So mistimed, I think, from Milan there. 13 off 13.
Needs some snooker chalk just to chalk the bottom of his bat there.
Looking for a high break, and this time he just punches it forward to mid-off, and they trot through for a very simple single. Hardik Pandya does the fielding, and England take their score on to 100.
Yeah, they've looked good tonight, England. I think Owen Morgan could be happy with how his boys have gone about their business tonight. They've looked well up for it from the first ball. As you said, Adil Rashid bowled that first over, surprised us all, even our own Darren Gough, and he went for 2 in that first over, and it sort of set the tone for the game.
In again, Chahal, and he's just smashed back over his head by Bairstow for another huge 6. That is some shot by Bairstow. There was no mucking as far as that was concerned. And that's the second 6 in 3 balls from Bairstow against Chahal. And you're right, they're just not letting him settle at the moment. And this is really good batting by England, and a statement of intent at the beginning of a series to really lay down a marker against a man who's caused England problems before. Superb. And Bairstow carrying the baton on from Jason Roy at the moment. And this time it is a little bit wider, and Bairstow just about manages to reach it and punch it out. Deep cover fielder comes in, and they trot through for a single at the end of the 13th over. It's 107 for 2. England will require 18 from 7 overs.
Just putting their marker down, aren't they, England? Just as you say, look, we know this is a bowler that you back. We're going to get after him, and they're just sort of treating him with a little bit of disdain, to be fair. Jason Roy going at him first, and now Johnny Bairstow, Matt had rightly said, at the beginning that, 3 ducks in test matches. I know it's a different format, but it was still been playing in his mind, and he's come out positive intent, and there's obviously a plan to get after Chahal. As I said, he's most probably one of India's banker bowlers.
And delighted that Darren Gough is back with us for the last knockings possibly of this one, as Washington Sundar comes in to bowl and is smashed back for 4-1 bat by Johnny Bairstow, who I think Goughy has got his mojo back.
Well, it's good to see actually, because Johnny Bairstow is such a terrific player, and he looked shell-shocked in the Test series. I think his get-out-of-jail shot was going to be the sweep, and I think what we've seen so far, this is a totally different game by the way, T20, he's hitting the ball down the ground. He's such a clean hitter of a cricket ball, and he's decided he's going downtown. And so far, 20 off just 9 deliveries. He's going to finish this game pretty quickly at this rate.
He really is. He's England now racing towards their victory target. Just 14 required from 41 deliveries. This one tucks Bairstow up a bit, and in the end he has to just play it out into the leg side. There is no run.
It's the old adage, Goughy, isn't it? If it's up, it's off. That's what's going, isn't it? He's not messing about. And as you say, when Johnny Bairstow's playing well, he's hitting downtown.
Sundar in again, and Bairstow comes down the wicket to him this time. Bowler sees him coming, I think, in fairness, drops it a little bit shorter, has to adjust, but still manages to punch it with enough power past the bowler for a single. He takes his score on to 21 from just 11 deliveries, and England to 112 for 2.
Well, he's gradually losing his place in some of the teams, isn't he? So he's realised this part of the tour now for him is so important. He lost his place with Sunrisers Hyderabad last year towards the end of that tournament, and they had a good tournament. He's lost his test place and then got it back, and he looks like he might lose it again.
In again, Washington Sundar, and that is just stroked elegantly by Milan. He doesn't seem to be really blasting the ball at all. He's just
once they're not out. That average is pretty good at the minute. He's sniffing a red inker here, old Milan. Let me tell you, he's not going to be playing the same shots as Johnny is.
Goffey, you know the one when he got dropped though, or he got left out. I think that was because you can only get a certain amount of overseas players, and they needed to get a bowler in. I think that's when he got left out.
They played Holder instead, Jason Holder, didn't they?
Yeah.
In again, and this is punched by Bairstow. It goes to pretty much the same place that Milan just hit it, but just with a great deal more intent as far as Bairstow was concerned.
Still lost his place, T.
Yeah, I know, but he was in decent nick. He was in decent nick though. He got a few 50s, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but they said he wasn't playing the fluent innings as he would. He was wasting balls.
Right, okay.
And that's why they dropped him.
So just the one ball left of this over. England 114 for 2. Washington Sundar in again, and Milan just chips it back.
Hit him on the box.
And it hits. I think there was a possible caught and bowl, but Bairstow was in the way. It hits Bairstow on the head, and a small contretemps between Bairstow and Washington Sundar, who says, "You should have just let me catch it." I don't actually think, in fairness, Bairstow was looking at it.
He's hit him on the head, basically. Milan, he just looped it back towards the bowler, Washington Sundar. A leading edge. It looked like it was just going to be a straightforward catch. But I don't know how it's happened until I see the replay. But it somehow hit Johnny Bairstow flush on the lid. I don't think Johnny knew much about it, to be fair.
It was a brilliant saving header. It was like a centre half at a corner. So let's see what we can see with this. We're still waiting for a replay, but it was an extraordinary moment in this match. I don't think it'll have any bearing on the result at all, but Washington Sundar's figures, he misses out on the wicket that he probably deserved for that delivery. 114 for 2 then. England require 11. They've got 6 overs. You're listening to commentary of the first T20 between India and England on TalkSport 2, with the Times and the Sunday Times cricket team writing with an edge.
Was he looking to do a little bit of a Pollard there, you reckon? He's trying to answer
I think he would have done. I think Virat stepped in and just said, like, calm down, let's leave it. Not at this stage of the game. I mean, not like we're going to lose from here, is it?
Mate, if Virat's saying calm down, then you know the game's gone, didn't you?
Shardul coming on then. Shakir. Shardul Thakir. 114 for 2. He'll inject a little bit of pace into the attack. Bairstow, who had been happy against the spinners, then tries to launch the paceman out into the covers, but gets a thick inside edge that bounces just past his stumps. No run, goes to the wicketkeeper. Goes and has another quick chat. Now we are finally getting a replay of this moment. Milan just lobs it back, leading edge, simple. And it's a great defensive header by Bairstow. He was kind of turning away, but he did get in his way a bit.
I'll tell you what, though, if I was the bowler, I would be annoyed as well, because that's cost him a wicket, hasn't it?
It's like Craig Dawson at West Ham, that, as it's smashed down the field for 1 by Bairstow, and the score goes on to 115 for 2. 10 runs required.
He wasn't even looking at it, Johnny. He turned his head away totally. He saw the fielder. Oh, he just did a little shoulder charge into him, though. It just helped him on his way.
Shoulder to shoulder.
50-50.
Yeah.
Phone a friend.
And then I like the what me that goes on after that between the two of them, particularly Johnny. That's a good hunch shoulder.
Milan's quite happy.
Yeah, isn't he? Average stays the same.
Still over 50.
115 for 2. Dawood Milan 15 not out. Johnny Bairstow 23 not out. England required 10. Have 34 balls. As we do head towards the last knockings of this particular match. Milan facing. Left armour. Oh, and he's just not timing the ball today. He gets a little inside edge. He doesn't really hit it, and he would have been run out if the bowler, who raced up to the other end and threw down where Milan was running to, and Milan would have been out if he had hit. So Milan has 2 lives in 3 balls, and he's still there, but not looking like the world's best international T20 batsman currently.
He's allowed an off day. He's done pretty well so far. Oh, it missed by a whisker, didn't it?
Didn't it just? But when your luck's running, isn't it? So that's one headed catch, one missed run out by a whisker.
You'd have been fuming if he was out, let me tell you. He would have been fuming.
Bairstow. Oh, and he also manages to get a little inside edge that somehow misses the stumps. So this is an excellent over from Thakur with absolutely no luck whatsoever. I think he's found the inside edge of 3 of the 4 deliveries he's bowled so far. England have managed to scratch 3 singles from the 4 balls so far, and have moved on to 117 for 2.
Yeah, there was the grunt when he let it go, which was a giveaway for the slower ball, wasn't it? Just try and fool the batsman. I'm going to grunt this ball, but it means it's going to be the slower ball. So you think I've put that extra bit of effort to bowl that quicker ball, but it's the slower one.
He's in again. That's a slow bouncer over the shoulder of Milan, which must have been close to a wide. Yes, it is a wide. It's down the leg side and over his shoulder, so I don't think the batsman, although he's shaking his head, can have many arguments with that one.
It's just getting a little bit untidy, isn't it? Some of the shots not quite hitting good pieces of the bat. Bowler, with his slower balls, just a little bit untidy.
It's like a club game at the minute.
Mate, you're doing club cricket in Misjustice. It's more like a benefit game.
Thakur in again. Milan facing, and that's leg side, and that's a wide that's punched by the wicket keeper. A missed run out. So 2 more runs, another wide. I'm not sure. I was really hoping I'd throw to Andrew McKenna for the final knockings of this match, but the amount of wides being bowled at the moment, Macca, I'm sorry, we're trying our best.
Well, we just said. I mean, that one there. So wide down leg side. Rishabh Pant's dived for it. He's punched it to short fine leg. Who's thrown at the stumps and missed it by 4 yards.
It's
the backup nearly misfielded it.
It's like that clip that's going around on social media in a minute, isn't it, on Twitter, with that game.
So there are still 2 balls left in this over, as there have been for what seems like several days, and that is just played out for a single by Johnny Bairstow. It's not a wide. England move on to 121 for 2, still 4 required. 1 ball left, possibly, of this over.
If anyone wants to know what I'm talking about, so there's a viral clip of I can't even call it a club game. Basically, batsman's had a hack, it's gone to short third man, they've thrown at the stumps, he's misfielded it, the batsmen are running, they shied at the stumps again, he's missed it. It's happened about 4 times in a row, and everyone's saying, that's why I love club cricket.
In again, and that's flicked. That again has the batsman in trouble. Bairstow does manage to get it out onto the leg side for a single. Milan, I apologise, managed to flick the ball away. Bairstow is on 25, Milan is on 17. The score is 122 for 2. England require 3. And to see you through the final knockings of this one, Andrew McKenna.
I was going to say, just quickly, Macca, can you remember Phil Tufnell when he, I think it was Dean Jones that were batting, and he made quite a few mistakes. Was that 1990 or... I can't remember the actual year where...
Sounds about right.
When he was just like, honestly, watching a comedy show, he kept throwing it at the ground, he was missing it, dropping catches. It was a brilliant clip of Phil Tufnell.
By the way, the clip that Chu's just mentioned, my favourite bit of that is when they go, I think, for the overthrows, is the batsman's, the non-strikers, his pad's obviously loose and ends up slipping down his leg, and he's having to limp because he can't bend his knee anymore. That's just ridiculous. Right, 3 needed anyway from 30 balls for England, and Washington Sundar's going to bowl right arm around, and David Milan pushes down to long off for a single. 123 for 2. Of course he does indeed. Milan goes to 18, brings Bairstow back on strike, and this might be the shortest commentary stint in history, because I've got a feeling this may not last very long.
You got your match fee, like football, mate. You come on for the last 2 minutes.
Absolutely. Got my appearance fee in. Owen Morgan is sitting in the dugout, I'm sure with a very broad grin on his face, as Washington Sundar bowls. Johnny Bairstow turns through square leg. They take 1, they think about the second, they won't take it. So scores are level, 124 for 2. against India's 124 for 7. We are 2 balls into the 16th over. India's biggest defeat in T20 cricket was a 7-wicket defeat. They are going to be losing this one by 8 wickets if England don't lose another. Sundar around the wicket. Malan comes down the pitch, launches him back over his head and into the stand. He gets his red inker, but he gets it with a full 6 to finish with. David Malan finishes 24 not out, and England win by 8 wickets. They have hammered India in this first T20 international, the first of 5. They have started in about the perfect way possible. Owen Morgan won the toss and decided that India would bat first. They were restricted to 124 for 7 from their 20 overs. It never looked likely to be enough, but when Jason Roy and Jos Buttler got things going for England, it absolutely was not going to be enough. Roy made 49, Buttler 28, and then added to that, Johnny Bairstow 26 not out from 17 balls, David Malan 24 not out from 20 balls. England have absolutely cantered this. They've won by 8 wickets with 27 balls to spare here on TalkSport 2.
Yes, it's an absolute thrashing by England over India. They put the marker down. England, the best white ball team in the world, picking their strongest 11, and it looked like it against an Indian team that's made a few changes, having a look at some of their younger players, but they're going to have to play a lot better than that if they're going to compete against this experienced England team. They was great with the ball, whether it be spin or seam with the ball, and then with the bat, Jason Roy, Jos Buttler at the top, and then David Malan and Johnny Bairstow finished it off in style for England to win by 8 wickets in this first T20 international, here live and exclusive on TalkSport 2. What a day for England.
I'm going to come to Matt Pryor in a moment with the thoughts on the batting, but Goffrey, from a bowling point of view first up, if you were to give England a mark out of 10, how highly would you rate that performance, keeping India down to 124 for 7?
Well, it's a 10, isn't it? I mean, I can't argue with any of that. None of the bowlers got a tap in. I think they were excellent. Jofra Archer picked up the wickets, but I thought Mark Wood was the pick of the bowlers alongside Rashid. Rashid opening the bowling with a white ball, brand new in India, didn't get bought in the IPL, a point to prove. He was excellent, and he took the scalp. The best one-day player in the world, he took Virat Kohli with him. So that was a huge, huge wicket for him. But I thought Mark Wood, fresh, not bowled in Sri Lanka, was absolutely excellent, with terrific pace, getting up well into the 150s. So a terrific performance, bowling performance from England, but in fact all-round performance, absolutely excellent.
And Matt, then from the batting, can't really say much more, can you? They had chased down a low score and they did it in style.
Yeah, I think that was the only challenge really, was okay, how were they going to go about chasing a low score? There was a bit of chat about, is this wicket a bit inconsistent, the bounce a bit inconsistent? But they did exactly what they needed to do. Buttler and Roy came out and played exactly how they play, attacked that first 6 overs and the power play, and put England so far ahead of the game. They earned the right then to, milk the bowlers, take the easy singles. They didn't have to take too many risks. Malan, I thought, he always brings a sort of level of calm to an innings. But then Bairstow at the end had other ideas and decided to finish it very quickly. But no, listen, in all departments, England dominated the game.